I'll pull up
Move
the screen
and
so I can
runs.
monitor it.
Sweet. Well, everybody, welcome back. We bring back Mike Maselli. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Glad to be back. Super excited.
Sweet. And of course, Bernogle's here. I know he was deliberately absent last time because he's naughty. That's it was very rude of him, actually. But we'll leave that where it is. Welcome, everybody, to session number 13, as it says. And of course, I'm joking, Bernogle. You just didn't add anything, so I thought I'd just move on.
Was I here last session? I don't know. Time's an illusion.
All right, time.
It really is.
All right. So who wants to recap for last time? I always enjoy doing this. He was on the ball, and I like to pick on people too. I think DJ's a good recapper. We'll let that go.
So what we ended up happening was Slappy was about to perform, but Slappy was also very, very hungry. He took it upon himself to head over to the Blue Velvet in order for him to get some food there, figuring that he'd be able to pick off some food from his herd. Unfortunately for him, his hunger got the best of him, and he spent a better part of his evening in the bathroom trying to figure out how to get out of there, considering that he was literally on his patron's domain. The rest of the crew had decided there's got to be a way to fix the situation. Sullivan had called in on his mala in the form of Ed Neely, and had brought with him Warren and Ramsey. Unbeknownst to poor Sullivan, who's always trying to look great amongst his betters, he did not know that Senor Neely had some interesting backstory and had some choice words to speak to his fellow former Sabbat members. And we left the story with finding out that we find out Slappy actually has a connection with his patron. He doesn't have to worry about much. He's the talent. All he has to worry about is singing. That and giving information to his sponsor. And I think that's where we left off last time.
Okay. So how it went, you guys are going to back to your respective havens because it was a pretty, I would say, eventful night. Some interesting revelatory incidents. And what's done about it, though, is the question. I figured you guys might want to talk it out. But before we get into that, Rot, you've been gone for a better part of, necessary reasons. You left off with saying you were going to look for your own kind of get in touch with your clan and figure that out and what's going on. Now, why you had to do it, you were pretty forward about it. You were here in secret, and whatever reason, they found out the same night that the other Sabbat came in, and you were thrown under a bus. Now, ironically, you threw yourself under that bus, and you were aware of that, because it wasn't like they were like, and you too, you were like, I was an anarch, and well, okay, I was Sabbat as well. It was like the worst kept secret that was there. But, well, since they're here and in trouble, I might as well be here and get out of maybe trouble, is kind of how you treated it. All that being the same, going to the sewers was the method that you were going into last I checked. Were you going to do a different method, or were you going the very traditional, I'm going to wander around until I find where there's signs of the Nas?
Yeah, that was exactly what I had in mind. Going underground, quite literally, to find answers.
Well, to that effort, how would you say Rot is with being underground and investigating and seeing that sort of process come forward?
I mean, he's accepted the fact of what he is, so it's not like he was in the military, so it's not like he's unaccustomed to being in a place that would normally make a normal person feel uncomfortable in filth and sewage and all that.
Okay. So what you're telling me is that you feel that Rot would just like get waist deep in it.
Yeah.
And like wade through different parts, understanding what's going on. Do me a favor though. Look at your character real quick, and I want you to look at your survival and tell me what that specialty is that you wrote down. No, it's been a bit since you've been back, so we're just going to help you jog your memory.
Chicago Underground.
Now, that's interesting. I know what we talked about, what you wanted it to mean. However, that can mean many things. To you in this character, and it's interesting, it's a survival specialty. What does the Chicago Underground mean to you as you meant it for Rot?
Being aware of how information and how those who dwell in the underground, how they move about, kind of what are their preferred routes, how is information passed, what is the culture down there, that kind of stuff.
So your idea of the underground as Michelius, Rot. Like when we say underground, the real world of Chicago does not have an underground of people living under there like Chud, right? Like it was
Right.
that horror film where we're just figuring it out. You don't, for not only sanitary reasons, it's you can't actually. It's dangerous and otherwise. Now, this is fantasy though, and we're trying to see what that is. Was your intent to say that you wanted Nosferatu underground, but it was in the city of Chicago, sort of like an area knowledge, and we put it at survival? Because how I took it originally when you had this character introduced is that your character learned to blend into the Chicago underground. And what you had really meant to say was that was your understanding of the streets. A survival specialist, how to live around those Is that what that is?
No, it's what you said. Now that I'm back into looking over more of the details, yeah, that does match more what we were talking about.
But Mike, I'm granting you assurance that if it was a better fit, you want it to be Nosferatu, right? Sort of the underworld, as it were. We just make sure that you and I understand that's what you meant. And we'll put it where it goes. That way I can help you along here. Because on one end, you knowing the right spots to sleep, the right places to avoid the sun, which is what the survival would be pertaining to you, and how you work that out is one thing that's above ground. Maybe some aspects of being underneath with a few abandoned subway tunnels and things like that can relate to that. But if you legit were saying, oh no, I found where the Nas are and I know those sections, that would be the layout of it, right? And so at that point, that's more of the subterranean life that the Nosferatu clan's known for. And I'm allowing you to pick that. Like, which one was a better fit for you?
Understanding the Nosferatu.
Okay. So to that then, we won't bother with the lore. Your character has been traversing the underground, and you took something very important that highlights that. You put down there a Nosferatu can't. Right? I know you listed as a vampire, but I knew what you meant. And it's understanding how to look at it. To anybody else in the layman of how the underground works, what you've noticed is that you go to the typical bathrooms that are connected there, and definitely the porta potties through the area that get landed for all sorts of construction work. There's two modes in the city of Chicago for construction. It's either winter or it's construction season. That's basically it. There's construction all the time for what goes on. Why the porta potties in a few restaurants and subway stations and whatnot that are around that have the bathrooms for public usage, you always look for the telltale sign of a phone number. It says, for a good time, call, and it lists an 800 number. You happen to know you listed 800 number. There is a number sequence you can tap into that is the email for that number, or excuse me, the message system for that number. When you hit that, you're given a set of, there's an email you can get and several other messages of a lewd nature that are there just in case. And the whole purpose of this is you have to note this, but it's how your character is knowing where the safe spots are to go. This is because they do maintenance on the city itself. So a lot of the common entrances to what you know to be underground may be under construction, or they're cleaning that sector, or they filled this area with water and it gets updated. Now, you're hooked in to where a lot of that's being filled out and you have that going on for you, and that's good. And somebody's updating it is the point I want to get to. You've been listening to those messages. Someone's going through the care to update it, know what spot. You're still able to go in, and nobody changed that number. So you're wondering where they're at. What you're running into is like the ghost of the Nosferatu. Like you'll come to a typical underground kingdom setup, one that you're used to seeing, where they have the Christmas lights that are strung up in a certain part to provide lighting. And then they have like the adjunct, we'll call it IT center, where it's the, you see them all online. They got the tables that are set up, they're reportable down there along the wall. Then they ward off the insects because they're NOS. And then they have the towers, right, that are there running who knows what. The only thing you found is that apparently there is a Bitcoin section. There's an entire underground section of the city underneath here, I'd say about a quarter mile worth, where they have tables upon tables set up of individual laptops, which your character's smart enough to know what he's looking at. That and the crude sign that was put Bitcoin, hands off. And that's it. And it's just these tower rooms that are set up, and someone's updating them, though. No one pulled the plug, no one shut it off, but you haven't seen them. And you're beginning to put two and two together. You think your clan's ghosted you. That when you come down there and they have wind of it, they just disappear. And they might observe you. They might be keeping eyes on you. You would never know. You may think you might feel eyes on you watching you or whatever, but that's not how Obfuscate works. Obfuscate fools all the senses, and to you, everything's normal. It could be a room full of them just staring at you, wondering what to do. And this makes sense to you. Your clan connection knows that trust was everything. That trust was violated on Elysium, which means someone knows. And in that knowing, this leaves you an option to go to. You're going to have to make an anarch connection. Someone has to speak up for you, but those anarchs are the ones you betrayed. When you stepped in, they believed in you, and you revealed what you really were. Until that's repaired, you're pretty much blackballed. At least that's what it seems. That's just wandering around and looking. And there's many methods your character have tried, but that's the general gist we are with that story, and it would have taken you time to map it out to understand that. Thus brings the message where you have an update from DJ's character, and I'm sorry, DJ, Sullivan, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and Sullivan's message is basically updating you on that you guys should meet up, that everybody needs to meet up to discuss recent events. There's some big things that have occurred, and he kind of wants to touch what's going on. To bring into attention everybody, here's what's on your docket. It was the same as last time. How far are we in the Church of Cain? I know we wanted to look into that. What's going on with that? That was number one that was there. Number two, we had some guy, some British bald guy who seems very menacing that asked us to deal with something. We don't even know to the extent of what, or do we remember exactly what we were supposed to do there? And that's that. I know Warren intimately remembers, and it's some vein of something you might need to do or have to do. We're not 100% sure what that is. But we know a third thing has been brought up. There's an owner of the Blue Velvet that you guys were in, and she revealed herself. But there's another shoe there, right? And it wasn't the only thing that was revealed. And I'm going to give you guys a chance to meet up to do that, i.e., that seems to make sense if you guys agree with that.
It does.
All right. If nobody else needs a refresher, then where are you guys going to choose to meet up this time around? Because that's the scene where we're going to start.
Is this the same evening of us going back to?
Not at all.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Because here's the thing. In your mindset, what you just went through, dealing with your mentor, getting signed up, there's all that. You need time to go back and set your finances. They need time to go back and decompress. Maybe Warren, maybe they need to talk. Right?
That's right.
Sans anybody else who's coming in. Don't know if you guys want to do that. Maybe a situation where Rot suddenly messaging you coming out of nowhere warrants a sidebar conversation, or yeah, guys, where are we going to meet at tonight? I'm giving you time to state all that and how you want that to work out.
Yeah, I know. I would definitely want to pull Ramsey and Rod to the side at some point and give them the skinny on Neely, right? And say, hey, that day that we knew was coming is here. That could be at the Haven. That could be in a park somewhere. I wouldn't. Privacy would be. Privacy is the wrong word. Just us would be more important than location. Is what I'm trying to say.
So how about this? We're gonna pause there for a second. Warren, would you say you would set up a meeting place for them to meet you before you go wherever Sullivan's trying to get you guys to meet?
Right.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And then to piggyback, what Sullivan would say is in the morning, or rather in the beginning of the evening, he would send out a group message saying, hey, folks, we have things to kind of wrap up. Whenever you're available, let me know so we can meet up. So that would just be his early evening message to the group.
And there we have it. Warren, where would you like everybody to meet you? We know you're going to ask. We know that's what's going on. That's agreed to. But what's the place?
Somewhere downtown that looks public, like outside of, I don't know, a museum or someplace you would expect tourists to be, I guess. Maybe the Bean. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like I said, public, just us. That would be the priority.
We do not go to the Bean. If that's Warren, the place.
Well, Warren, unfortunately, I am the ST. I'm not you. So which place would you like? Would you like the Bean? Would you like somewhere downtown? Is it Starbucks? Would you like a cemetery? Would you like the police station?
Starbucks will be perfectly fine. I have a shit concept of downtown Chicago as Mike.
You don't need it as Mike. What I'm saying is Warren needs a place to meet. If it's not a Haven and you're going to go somewhere public, there's many things that are public. But you can set the scene. You could say, I want to meet at a coffee house. I want to meet somewhere where there's mortals. I want to meet no mortals. I want to be in a public park. I want to be somewhere where we can be seen so nobody's apt to do something outlandish, but where we can talk a la conspiracy, like Bourne conspiracy style. Right. And it just depends.
Yeah, I'm going to aim for a coffee shop, Starbucks, whatever, that has outdoor seating.
If I could give you something that does make sense, why wouldn't Warren choose a university bar?
Yeah, actually, great idea.
Right? You know that territory. You know where the University of Chicago is. You know what they like to go to and where they hang out. That's just one option, right? However, where you pick is an Irish pub. That's what you remember. University often has there's all the tricks, right? There's mom and pop bars that's overpriced. You don't go to those. There's a place that we called on here is actually O'Malley's. It's a pub that caters in the neighborhood, and it's what you guys think. It's you walk in and you can get Irish fare food, and that's if you're there early enough. Otherwise, up until 1 a.m, they serve alcohol, and folks come in, sit down, get a table. Is it packed? It's not so packed it's elbow to elbow you can't hear each other, but it is packed with serious students. That's kind of why you went here in the first place, Warren. Was you could sit down, bring your books. They didn't have no problem with that. You can read, drink coffee all day, sit in the back, but you have to order a meal. You remember that. That's they cracked down on coffee stairs, just kind of setting up shop and doing a 12-page paper, taking days, and only paying $1.45 for coffee because it's unlimited refills. And they got switched. You get a meal, you can drink all the coffee and soda you like. And we support college students, sort of the method. That's what you're going on, or that's what you have going on. Your problem, I'm going to give this to you, is we'll say Warren gets there first. You'll see that odd waitress, waitstaff will note you, and we'll actually say to you, and she goes, oh, I haven't seen you here in a long time. Welcome back. And you have no recollection of who she is. This is one of those awkward moments where once upon a time, and it feels thousands of years ago, Warren was alive. And that an intro like this might warrant a further conversation, maybe with some flirtation. Now it seems almost hostile because you're reminded that what happens if someone remembers you and someone catches on? What did the prince say would happen to you?
That's going to go bad. I don't benefit from fleeing right now that I'm present. I'll just be polite to her and do the thing where you kind of get somebody to remind you in conversation of what the fuck they're talking about. Right? Like, I don't remember your name, right? Or I don't remember the party, or I want to drop those inviting statements.
At this point, what's your etiquette, Warren?
It's only one. It's only one.
Well, you have a choice: to be rude or the risk of giving her an excuse and her to continue engaging you in conversation.
I'm not going to be rude. I need to stay here. I need the university to still be a place that I feel safe at.
So now we need a die roll, right? Now we need your etiquette and charisma roll, because what you're trying to do here is to do exactly what you said. Kind of make her make the assumption that she might be wrong about who you might be, and to kind of keep that door open. It's the clever lie that we tell the safe face.
All right. Bear with me. And here we are.
If you can hear my snoring cat, let me know. We'll try to adjust.
We can, but it's nothing short of adorable.
Okay.
I've got 3 successes.
With 3 successes, it works brilliantly. Your intent is to let her know, you jokingly start with, yeah, we all kind of look alike, huh? And you do that and just stare at her, right? Because you're playing the fact that she is Caucasian. And she literally goes, oh, stop it. She'll hit your elbow because you do it with a smile where you just stare at her. And she goes, I swear you look like, okay, my fault. You didn't go to University of Chicago? I mean, I swear, but you plan immortality. And you go, ma'am, I just signed up. I'm in my later years, but I'm still going. And she's like, oh, you know what? You just remind me of him. Yeah, that's true. He'd be about my age. And you'll see her nervously grab her hair. She has a few pounds extra than when you remember now that you think about it. Must be the bar life, long hours, whatever. Probably doesn't get to keep that workout schedule she used to. And now that you think about it, there was a set of info about her. And from what it looks like, she does have a Gold's Gym key ring on, which you'll note that that's old school. Gold's Gym shut down in the area, got replaced by this Bally's Fitness, whatever nonsense stuff was going around. And they were real aggressive in their opening. You remember that because the university opposed that. You guys opposed that because the thought was Bally's actually pays dirt wages to people and what's going on. And that was opposed and turned over. And then starts coming back to you. You do know her. And when you look at the ID and it says Erica, you absolutely know her. You didn't have history with her, not in a personal nature, but she would take good care of you here and you guys would tip very well. That's probably what she remembers about you. And so in your head, tip poorly. It's clear she remembers people who take care of her, and that's a point of her business, right? But nonetheless, it's hard to be that way because it's heartwarming. She gets you over to your table, tells you about the neighborhood and where to avoid and what the right times of night to come here, when to avoid it, and how the The concerts tend to spill over as people come out here from the concerts, knowing they can get a good meal. And but the kitchen closes at 11. If you call ahead of time, though, they'll have it set up. That gives you a lay of the land, and all the old tips come back, and that nostalgia hits you, where you feel you're very much yourself again, kind of in your domain a little bit, and that's a good feeling. However, for the other two, as you get caught up with her, just your usual whatever meal that is that you would usually order, you kind of get the comfort foods there. Rot, you'll arrive. And what I got to say is, looking at the building on the outside, you are Nas. What's our intent of how we're going to approach this? How's Rock going to make a scene here?
Yeah. My best case and my best approach would probably be unseen passage and just try and follow somebody through the door without disturbing it.
Easily done. And it's no problem for you looking around. How you wait for somebody to go through the door, you really truly don't have to wait. I mean, as Rod approaches the door, it's weird to you that you'll see a guy standing on, half putting his jacket on, just goes to there's a revolving door that works on its own, but it's as if when you come close enough to the other door, this guy steps out to hold the door open and unconsciously makes it a point to try to finish putting on his jacket. Like, oh, it really is cold. And finishes putting the jacket on, and you're thinking, yeah, he would have, oh, that's weird. And then you walk by. Problem is, you're used to this. There's almost an unconscious bias to allow you to do your intent when you're hidden. Can't always count on it, but when it happens, it feels odd, like it's some sort of mind control. And you don't have it. It's watching people time their passing of you walking through them. It takes some getting used to, but familiar enough to you to get over to where Warren's sitting. Warren's sitting on his lonesome. You're there. How are we going to tell Warren you're there?
Yeah, I hadn't thought that part through yet. Short of just sending a text, I'm next to you. I don't have any other brilliant strategies.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. That's your text that you will get, Warren.
Right, you'll just hear him, he'll peek down, look at his phone, and say, fucking nice. All right, man. I'll just send back. Yeah, I got it. Just, I guess, send me another message when you leave or need to chime in. Send.
Thumbs up emoji.
I can't tell you how funny this is, Rod, that he types it out to send it back to you. Like, you're here and you can hear him. You said you were next to him. Instead of talking out loud, he takes the time to text you, which makes it even longer. Now it's like, why are we even meeting up if a text message is sufficing between the two of you? Right? It crosses your mind as well. Oh, Jesus, okay. There's stuff it could be doing, guy. And it's sort of there. It's mutual both ways. It's annoying for him. It's annoying for you. It's annoying for everybody, right? But Ramsey, you don't get much hassle coming in. You never do. I'm going to assume that you're going to live that part of well-fed still, by my count.
Yeah.
You're doing pretty good. The blending in half of what you do, right? And nobody stops a guy who looks like he just got off work, maybe got paid, a little pep in his step. They welcome you to O'Malley's, seat yourself, or you need a table, how many, that sort of thing. Like, no, I'm here to see somebody. Oh, great. Yeah, I knew it. And you walk around, you easily find Warren, but apparently just you and him are there.
Ramsey will sit down, kind of like look around. He'll take off his outer jacket. He's got like a pull-on hoodie underneath it, and he'll just like throw it to the side, like in the same booth that we're in. Why aren't we meeting at the house?
Because this isn't for everybody, man. And I don't have like any nefarious or extreme actions planned at this moment. But I don't want to put our new companions in the position of having to choose, at least not yet.
All right. Do we need to order a drink before Rock gets
Yeah,
here? Have you actually heard from him?
Yeah, he's here somewhere close enough to hear what the fuck I'm saying.
Of course he is.
What are you going to do? This is how they get down. But listen, to the point, I got some wings coming. Don't worry about that. I bought something hot, so my hands will be warm. I'm trying to talk to just you guys. because Neely is doing what we were supposed to. Right? You remember the fella in the booth?
Oh, I remember him. I didn't just see him in the booth.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
came
we
out to
talked.
he came out to the alley. Before then, had that meeting with you and Sully. He tossed some dude in a dumpster and jumped from the ground floor to the second floor catwalk. Like that.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was screwed on too tight when we spoke to him at the Velvet either. I mean, we know the type. I got some stuff on the way. You know, I sent out an order on Amazon. Don't know when that's going to show up, but we got to be ready for when the excrement hits the fan, right? Because until that happens, I don't know that we can rely on Sullivan and Slappy. If I were them, I wouldn't risk my life for us. We're an unnecessary risk to begin with. And that doesn't mean, gank them, right? Take what they have and go into hiding. It just means until we know they're going to fight with us, we don't know that they're going to fight with us.
Look, we're already in some pretty deep shit. Nearly excluded, right? We got the shit show that was, well, Millennium Park. We've got the problem stemming from the laundromat that we need to fix. All of which they're already in with us. Oh, that's still outstanding.
Yeah, but you understand how that kind of stuff is reputational, and this Neely issue is fire and blades, right?
It's not reputational. Like that, what happened at the laundromat, if we don't fix, that's on us. We don't get second chances.
Right. But again, that is a thing that we can act on to fix. Whereas we know already there is not a fixing of violent confrontation with people who are seeking our blood with good reason, at least from their perspective.
Yeah, and we knew that was going to come. Problem is, we don't have friends yet. I think that's what we need. We need people to be interested, invested, willing to fight with us. We don't really have friends.
Accurate.
Now, I know Hernandez hates, despises the people that are in the park. That's something that could, well, at least get her interested in us. Fixing the problem from the laundromat, that would at least get our British friend not watching us like he is, I'm sure.
Bullshit. He's gonna watch us.
All right, fine, he will, but at least, shit.
I want to get him interested in intervening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know him. I don't know what he values or what he cares about. If we can attach ourselves to that, it might extend our lifespan.
All right. So I'm use this little switch real quick as you guys sort of get in the lay of the land of what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sullivan, what sort of night are we going to start with? Like, you said you're going to have a meetup yet. What really a response? I'm going to assume they said, yeah, sure. But now it's not that time yet. Are you doing anything in prep work or anything beforehand? Or are you just going to go and wait?
First thing he's doing is just making sure that he's got everything set up for his new membership to this club. He's kind of excited about it. He has spent the money on it, but he has to make sure that balances the books because it's a hefty amount of money to any normal person, and he's got to make sure at least the books look good. He will reach out to Slappy though. He needs to find out whether or not Slappy's in that good position and everything's fine. So he will give Slappy a call.
So Slappy, what are we doing to reorganize your life? Like, much true to the word, you're a performer for the club, as it was explained to you. Minus a very, very pissed off brother who is taking his time to calm down. That's what the holidays hopefully are for. Get him a nice gift, maybe. Maybe that'll do it. You didn't mean anything by it, but you also can let him know what you were. All seems to be taken care of. No one's holding a body over your head. No one's treating you differently, at least that you can tell in the immediate. It's been one day.
You're muted, pal.
I double muted myself. So Slappy was like really, I feel there's like two trains of thought, right? That he's going on right now. There's that feeling that I feel like he's getting because he just basically shit on someone else's turf and completely got away with it. Like, so there's like, I feel like his beast is like reveling in that thought, right? Like scratching in the back of his head. But there's also that guilt that he just, he just fucking bodied somebody in the bathroom of the club, and that was a person. So like two different trains of thoughts, and then he's dealing with Miles, his brother, who he had to, just to save his life, had to basically put damage to that relationship. So his priority is like fixing that relationship with his brother, like to maintain that, like he doesn't want to push him away. So he'd be reaching out to him, like sending texts, like, yo, man, hit me up. Like, I got it. I know we got to talk, like, but we're family. Like, shit happens. Like, there's a story, I promise.
What we could do to set this up, we can rely on your character's raw ability to do it. I think you get a good head on it. In fact, I'm going to give you 2 XP for that insight to remember that you did impact your touchstone relationship with you, and it sucked to have that happen. But an active thought to repair it is a chance I'm going to give you to start putting a balm in the wound right now. In what capacity are you going to try to get your brother back? And into this avenue, I'll help even further by saying, are you trying to convince him via, you're going to bullshit him? Use a little fast talk, a little subterfuge, tell him, hey, don't worry about it. I was in a thing. I was in the stuff. I'm in some stuff. Or do you have a viable background pull you're going to try to throw him in a direction that you're not going through, right? You're making it up, but that might explain why you were acting so erratically. So in one way, you have something. On the other way, I'm going to help you with a die roll to make up that excuse.
Okay. Yeah. So, I would be going, the subterfuge route, basically, to try and just like, not like, I want to bullshit like a story, like, but like almost like put some truth behind it, right? Like to give it that, so that Slappy can pull from like his real life experience and like these real emotions of like being overcome, like almost relating it to a drug, but never saying like what drug it was, and be like, man, I just lost myself. Like I lost my cool, like something else had control of me. It was some bad stuff,
Sure. Give me a wits and add your subterfuge. I'm going to give you 2 dice because it's along the lines of what's honestly what it kind of seems like, right? Trapped in the bathroom all night. What's going on? The seeds are there. And plus what he was sending to you had every step to be, I'm tired of you pulling this as if you've done this before. But that's exactly right. I feel the vein's accurate. So that's your wits. You can do your subterfuge. And the difficulty we're going to assign is 3. This is because family wounds are not so easily forgiven. So here's what happens. It's probably more touching than you wanted it to be. Your brother immediately goes into what you really didn't want it to go, but it makes sense that he does. And there's a 12-step program. He's willing to pay for this cool center he found in the city of Chicago. It's real discreet because he knows you're in the blue scene. It's a way to get help with substance abuse. And he can sign you up. He'll pay for it. That way it's on your thing. He knows you're good for it, but he'll do it now. Don't tell his wife and, kind of keep that where it is. And he'll come, he'll pick you up and make it seem like you're teaching him how to play the guitar, like always. That's the one thing you have been teaching him. The thing is about your brother, Slappy, as per what you knew, is real self-esteem issues. And the right person can plan him. That's sort of why his wife gets along great with him. She's real encouraging to help him do what he is. But you have been teaching him how to play. And as far as you're concerned, he could play a set with you. He just has to get used to being in front of a crowd, which is the death of any artist. You plan all this. You tell him what's going on. And then, man, I miss our guitar sessions and pulling on it. And he's like, yeah, no, I understand. I feel like a dickhead. You could have just told me, next time just tell me. It's like that. And we'll do what we can. I got to get you help, man. I had a real problem with Tylenol back in the day. I used to take it all the time. And, I can't do that. It's not the same. I don't really know. And your innocent apple pie brother is revealed to you all within what he's saying. But he absolutely tells you, he says, I don't want to pressure you. I've been looking online, and it's a big step that you discover this for you. But, like, here's the address for your discovery. And when you want to go there, I'll go with you. And, like, you can come and go as you please. You just got to be there for the program. The program works if you work it. Then it's like another 10 of these where he feels awkward, even gave this advice because you're the cool brother. Naturally, you do because you're stoic, right? You said what you said, and he really wanted this, right? You could tell he didn't want that to be the end of your relationship. There's also guilt. You're not 100% certain how much of this is the beast's reluctance to let him out of your circle. Its natural charisma is a devastating thing, being what you are. Very easy for you to convince people when they're there. And you're wondering how much of your brother now is being controlled by your life. Because honestly, brother you remember back in the day had a real issue with so much as you borrowing a toy without asking permission and then being done with it. To see it now, everybody matures. Either it's a very beautiful thing or you're really that manipulative now.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something that Slappy would have to kind of come to terms with to make himself okay with, because yeah, there is that aspect where it's like he's my brother, like, but then there's that deep like bestial urge inside that he's my brother.
Right. So to that end, your aggravated willpower you took will obviously be restored because it's successful repair of the relationship, and that's how we're going to work that. And you feel good. Feel like it's a good night. So when Sullivan gives you this message, follow up and whatnot, it's up to you what you choose to do with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, were you calling me Sullivan or sending a text?
He was calling him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Slappy would, answer the phone and just a warm greeting like, hey, Sully, how it be?
Not bad, not bad actually. I was just calling to check up on you. How are you doing?
Man, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I've seen better days, every sunset has a cloud that drifts over it, but I'm working it, picking up the pieces, and I gotta say, putting them together pretty well, if I do say so myself. I ain't no sculpture artist or nothing, but I think Picasso would be proud.
Okay. I mean, that's a thing. Listen, I just got to ask because I know things are a little bit different than what we're used to. I know that we have a lot on our plate to kind of deal with, and what you dealt with, no lie, I've dealt with before. I've helped other people get through it. It's not the most ideal situation, but it got taken care of. And at the very least, kudos to you for being able to fix it yourself. I don't know how you managed it, but it helped us out a lot. The reason I'm just checking in on you though is because the other folks that we're dealing with between Ramsey and Warren, they're a different type of breed. They might not even show it or might not even care. Hell, I'm not even too sure how that's gonna go. But I just want you to make sure that you're fine, because I know this is a different crowd altogether, and I don't want you to think any different. We still got to deal with Tally. We still got to give him a phone call, but I'll wait till everyone gets back together. I just want to make sure you're up for it, because you dealt with some stuff. You dealt with the Pigeon Man, and now you dealt with this. This might be a little too much for you.
Nah, man, y'all showed up, and I ain't gonna lie, man. I feel like a grade A dickhead having you guys show up there and then fixing the problem myself. I'm up for it, man. I'm up for it. I got you. You got me, right? Brothers in arms.
There we go. I mean, that's all I needed to know. Once again, listen, it's my specialty to be able to flip stuff. I flip real estate. I'm able to flip groups that need the help, and I'm here for you, right? So let me go ahead and take care of that. Listen, I'm going to try getting in contact with these guys. They haven't answered me yet. Actually, you know what? They probably don't even want to talk to me. Do you want to give them a ring? See whether or not they probably want to listen to you. Have you seen Rot by any chance?
Nah, I mean, anybody seen Rod? I don't know. Fucking
it's just
Nosferatu, right?
Listen. It's got like work, right? Where you have two no shows. I just want to make sure either he's okay or that we're okay from him. But if you hear anything, just let me know. I'm gonna try sending these cats a message and seeing where they are.
All right, man. Just let me know. Let me know where and when, and I'll be there with bells on my shoes.
Sounds good. Thank you, brother. I'll talk to you later. And he'll hang up.
All right. We're gonna flip back to Rot and the guys. Rot, you're gonna note something. You've been standing there now for about good 15, 20 minutes as they're kind of getting the conversation warmed up. And very ominous conversation, I might add, but you can't help but have your mind wander a bit. You didn't notice it. I mean, you've noticed these things before and it didn't bother you so much. It's along the wall up top on one of the signs. You notice the twitching whiskers of what appears to be just an everyday average like field mouse, just hanging out there, twitching and looking. Now there's another 3 that are up there, kind of looking over the edge, like maybe they found something. But you can't help but feel they're looking at you. And it's weird that is. I mean, you can't be looking at you, but like, are they? And there's 3 now. It's been a handful of minutes. Is there going to be more? You're not certain. You do know this. You're seeing 3. There was 1. There's got to be more. They might have them in the walls. Maybe it's a kitchen issue. The mind wonders.
He'll send a message. We're not the only ones listening.
Mike's muted. Now you learn that mute button.
Mm-hmm.
Testing.
It's tested.
Zoom classes are on Monday.
I'll just say out loud that's all right, right? We're being discreet enough. You want to just go outside so you can talk?
Sure.
And Warren will fucking stand up and head out front, right? It's not that different from being inside. Still have my hot beverage.
So, go ahead, Ramsey.
I was just gonna say we ordered wings. I'll get them in a box to go.
Yeah, you'll go to the counter. You know, she's looking to settle the tip and whatnot, or the tab, I should say. And she has your receipt right there with everything else. And you're like, "Can I get a box for this?" Is you head outside with the mug, and she's like, "Can you leave that in here? Like, we don't. At the terrace is the terrace, but you guys just seated inside. I got to transfer your table if you're going to be transferring my section to another one. Like, there's a system. So, can you guys wait at the counter and I can get everything shifted outside if that's what you want? If you want to be outside, or I can get your to go and."
Well, just
That's
get us
it.
the to go. It's simpler.
Sure. Who's paying?
I'll pay it because Sully's
Okay.
actually paying it with the $600 I stole from him.
There you go. It's a simple thing, and you pay the money, do your thing, and you guys head outside.
I will pause only long enough to allow Rod to reveal himself.
You see him, right? You follow him out, which is my assumption, and they'll begin looking around. You have to assume they're looking for you.
Before I reveal myself, would I consider this a safe spot to do so?
Define safe. Like if anybody's going to see you.
That's great breaking. Safe.
If you're just outside, out on the terrace where people could be,
no.
This is a bad spot.
Yeah, this is a bad spot.
If we're going to go to the side of the building, or we're going to go for a little walk away from the building, this is doable. Alleys work, distance works. Fun fact: most people from a distance, especially if you look different, they're not going to say anything. They're just going to mind their business and keep going. But that's from a safe distance.
He'll look for somewhere more discreet that he would be able to reveal himself and speak. And once he eyeballs a spot, he'll message them in the group text to go there.
So it's very hard for you to indicate where this is at, but basically, it's like he turns the indicator on. You have the app to track his phone. It's feet down. We're just going to make this simple. He goes to the nearby alleyway, stands in it, and says, "Meet me in the alley," right? It's down to your left. You guys follow directions if you're going. And there he is, just kind of leaning in, his hood pulled up as much as he can, and hands in pockets trying to look inconspicuous. Very opposite of it, I might add. You guys are walking in, and that's that. But for the folks walking by, they'll turn and look and then not pay attention, i.e., oh, not our business, and keep walking by.
Yeah, I'll just lean back in. Nice to see you. Ha ha ha. And and what are we gonna do? You got any light bulbs right now?
Nothing in particular at the moment, but I mean, it's not gonna. You've been around our new friends a bit longer than me. You tell me, would they stick their necks out for us?
I mean, yeah, I think they would, right? Sullivan certainly led the charge when and Slappy was in trouble. I'm not
Okay.
saying that I have any concerns about their like moral fiber, right? But I don't know where these guys come from. I know that me and Ramsey have done some violent, reprehensible shit once or twice. I don't know if they'll be interested, and I do know who's coming.
Yes. And no doubt they know exactly where we are.
Yeah,
So, what are we doing about that?
like I said, I got some sharp stuff on the way. That's about it.
Okay.
Our best bet is Sully. You remember why Sully contacted us? We're talent to him. That's why he went to go lead the charge for Slappy. It's what you can do for others. As long as he sees value in us, he'll back us. We just have to show that value.
Okay.
All right. I mean, well, I got a message from him earlier. I'm sure we got to circle up tonight anyway. My first question is going to be what passes for redemption in this corporation?
Redemption. He strikes me as the very shit. What is that quote? Leads are for closers. Very Glenn Ross type. He doesn't care about redemption. He doesn't care about morality. He cares about results, how it benefits him. I don't blame him for it. That's just how he operates.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go
Hey,
catch
you
up. Oh yeah.
see that happening a lot around here. I've seen it. That seems to be the status quo. You don't get anything unless you pursue results.
Okay. We're going to pause here because I hear a lot of where this is building up to. What questions? Like I hear a lot of like you guys are searching answers or resolutions to things. What's going on with that? Let's see what you're able to do with yourselves before we just go and heap this all on DJ for the moment. Let's make sure we're on the right track here. Let's take a moment to look at those sheets and see if we can build on an idea or think of an idea.
Go ahead. I'm sorry about.
What are you looking to do, Warren? You're first up. What's that?
I'd like to see if I can leverage some of my capacity for politics with the experience that I have in the university to know what these Camarilla types will value, what'll make us worth an expense of resources to keep alive.
So if I understand your question, your real question is not what do you have to do to be of worth, it's what do we have to do to make them want to keep us healthy.
I feel like that comes before being of worth, right? We need time to be of worth.
Roll your we'll do intelligence politics, I think. That's doing a little pondering to see what the angle is on that.
Should I include my hunger in this one?
No. Highly doubt. Maybe it would be distracting. We're not concerned about that at the moment.
Three successes.
Here's what you know. If you had to think of this in the concept of rulership, right? This isn't that different than the enemy of my enemy, right? You were at odds with them, but you have a bigger problem, and that's the people you came from. They had said they have nobody to know the Sabbat, right? They know the rumor of them, know the aftermath of them, but no one's really ever captured a Sabbat member willing to betray its own sect. Unfortunately, this makes you rather unique. And so that's why very much you still live to sub blood. That might be it in itself. That you're a thought experiment of if it's possible to flip the enemy. And they're observing that now. And this pulls one important thing. In order for this to work and it to be a real observation, somebody has to be close to you to keep an eye on things. And immediately you think of Sullivan. How could you not? The very person you find you're relying on that's going to help you kind of rehabilitate is the same person who would be the perfect candidate to give them information of how you're adjusting. It's a dangerous thing. Now, the other part of that politics is why, sure, but it's how. And you think you might have a handle on it. And how is not like how in the scope of things do we go talk to someone, get on a phone call, and do whatever. You get how the society is structured. There's certain key important individuals responsible for certain key things. And you haven't been given the lay in the land on purpose. You don't think you're meant to raise the ladder. If you read the writing on the wall, it's you're alive. That's your reward. That's where you're at. And they've given you nothing else, which means the obvious is you're serving a purpose even now. It's just a matter of whom sees you as purposeful, because that's why you're alive.
Okay. I don't think Warren would say that any different than you just said it to Ramsey and Rod. But I would add, fellas, I'm thinking I'm gonna just tell Sullivan the truth about Neely. And I don't expect him to believe me yet. But unless one of you guys says different, when the day comes, we might be able to rely on him to pick it up. That's all I got.
All right. Rot or Ramsey, are we going to do any think tanking here? Or are we just going to be, well, it is what it is. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, is what it is. We'll cross the bridge when we reach it, but we're in this mess together.
Yeah, I think Ramsey would be the same. I can't think of any questions to ask. So
Okay. So are we going to the meeting with Sullivan?
yeah.
All right. Do note that he did ask you a question about what you were not going to do about Neely. Were you going to give him a response, or does Ramsey really not care what he decides to do?
I expect it to play out the way Neely said it would, but I'm not going to stop Warren from saying it.
Okay. So the important thing I'm going to put here in front of you, what Warren's saying is we're being puppeted by somebody for some purpose. That's what he laid down. And we're either serving that purpose and we're going to work off a debt and hopefully find a place to fit in. And that's what you're saying you're going to go ahead and do. Or you're looking to clip your strings, stand on your own too, and finally be free of everybody, including the Camarilla, but still be able to be here to play ball. Right? That's one of those things. And it's all about the aspirations of what you guys want to do. I need you to keep that in mind. One thing's for certain, folks. According to what it looks like, you guys are on the path of being killed. It's becoming a matter of time. The longer we don't have a thought as to how we're going to work out from under it, that's the noose getting tighter, right? Mm-hmm. And that's something that you guys easily can see as the obvious. So, without further ado, though, meeting up with Sullivan, I'm assuming it's just back at the Haven, Sullivan?
Rather, yeah, it sounds like the perfect place to be.
It's a little unnerving watching the three of them arrive together. Tell us many things to Sullivan. Without needing a role, clearly they talked outside in the parking lot or met hours previous. It doesn't really matter. Obviously, they have matched notes up. How very interesting.
I'm assuming Slappy's also there, yes?
Yeah, that's why I said all of you. Cool. Slappy was going.
Just making sure, because the both of us will be waiting, and you have spent some time with Slappy over in the living room, so to speak, as he is looking over TV idly, and as soon as the three come in, he'll stand to attention and just kind of clear his throat. He'll adjust his glasses and he'll clasp his hands. Gentlemen, the three of you guys out about, or am I missing something here? We're not in trouble, are we?
No, man. We needed to have a little refugee powwow. Obviously, you're aware of the differences in our backgrounds. And I wanted to talk to the guys, just them, before burdening you with what I'm about to say. Your boy, Neely.
Great guy.
He's not who you think he is. And I know, coming from me, that doesn't mean anything. The day's going to come when he's going to pass some information that's going to bring that retribution from our old friends. And we were meeting up just us to try to figure out how we're going to handle that. Now, before you get ahead of yourself, I'm not asking you to do anything at this time. You know, I wouldn't presume, but he's Sabat, Sully.
He'll look at Slappy for a second. Are you in on this?
Slappy will just shrug his shoulders and be like, "Guess he's Sabat. I don't know, man. Fuck. There's Sabat. He's Sabat. Are you Sabat?"
No. Hold on a second. This is a prank, right? I mean, you're fucking with me, right?
No, man. See, we have a thing, right? There's a lot of times where Sabat will find themselves on the road or in an unfamiliar place, and we don't have like a bulletin board or a company Rolodex, right? We can't just call the resident knower of things to identify one another. I know he's Sabat because he threw up the gang sign. Now, the alternative is he's not Sabat, he's Camarilla, and he's testing to see if we're really Sabat or something. But he knows something that where I come from, only one of us would know. And he probably knows a lot more than that.
Gentlemen, all right, let's pause for a second here. I get where you're coming from. And if I'm understanding you correctly, I see where there are parallels to what's happening here. But you are aware of who Edward Neely is, right?
Nope.
And his lineage? He's a big thing. He's got clout behind him. I'm fortunate enough. We were fortunate enough to be able to land a meeting with him. I mean, he's got pull. Might not be the pull, such as like Ballard or anything like that, but he's got significant pull. He's a person that we can rely on right now. So based on what you're saying, I want to say it clearly in my head so we don't have any miscommunications. You're telling me that he knows more than he should and that there's going to be a time where he's going to sell us out, right?
No. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. If he is what I think he is, you and Slappy are going to end up under the bus too. But I do not have anything that I can give you to prove that other than literally teaching you secret handshakes like a fucking 13-year-old. Right?
I'm always down for some secret handshake. Shit can save you.
Don't worry about it, man. It's not the point.
Okay, fuck. All right.
The point is that on the day when the day comes, I need you guys to just tell me whether we should plan to stab some people, just us former Sabat, or whether I can hand you a machete. And whatever you say, I'll take it. I get it. I understand.
He'll tap the side of his slacks for a moment before he reaches over for the remote control and he turns off the TV. I don't think there's any easy way to kind of put it, gents. We're vampires. I don't want to admit this a lot. When I was still breathing, it was a different story because you just don't fuck over someone and kill them. It's just not a thing you do because there are rules, laws, and forensics behind it that'll get you in trouble. It's not like it doesn't cross your mind, but even in the Camarilla, even from what we're working, backstabbing is second nature. Don't get me wrong. I trust Neely now because I'm being useful to him. And he is the shit right now because he helped sponsor me and he's helping me get to where I need to go. But I have no doubt in my mind if it benefited him for me to get fucked over or for us to get fucked over, that he wouldn't take the opportunity. That's why I'm kind of a little hesitant to kind of understand what you're saying regarding this whole Sabat thing, because it's normal vampire politics to be able to fuck each other over. You have my word, though, that I don't intend on doing that. Right now, you guys are my number one boy band. I got to promote you guys until we flip you over, and then you guys get where you go, and I get what you go, and we're in it till we in it. I'm in it to win it. I'm telling you that right now. You have my sworn word that I will do that for you. But what you're telling me right now, if you're really implying that he is Sabat, I'm going to need proof. Because outside of it, if I bring this up to anyone else, it's just a vampire being a vampire. I get it. You're new to the Camarilla. It's a thing. I know it is, but
I'm not asking you to bring it to anybody else because nobody would believe you. From what you're telling me, Buddy's got history. All I'm really asking you is that when the day comes that somebody tries to kill us three, because they will, can I hand you a blade or do I need to tell you to be somewhere else at a place and time? That's all I'm asking.
I'll protect you. Yeah, my word. I don't know what shape that's going to take because I've never been put in that position, but you're my investment, so I got to watch over my investment. Does that make sense? That's the best I could give you right now?
That's more than good enough for me, man. More than good enough for me.
All right. What about you, Slappy? You all right with this?
Slappy's just kind of like he's been listening and like nodding his head. And then he's like, he shrugs his shoulders and he's like, I mean, I ain't got too many more friends, you know, in the kindred community, if you will, you know, not the most popular guy. I mean, if y'all got my back, then I got your back, right? But that does mean that if that dog ever comes back to finish what he started, you know, I'll need some assistance, right? Because I still got werewolf piss on those clothes.
Yeah, man.
Word.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's gonna work out. You know, worst case scenario, Motley Crue had fucked up so many rooms before, but it doesn't mean that they stopped being badasses. This will probably only add to your reputation, if I'm being honest with you. All right, but we got to get to business. Number one, Ramsey, my boy. What do you have regarding your morgue friend? Because I got to call Talia Hound and let him know that we took care of that. Are we good or do we owe?
No, we still owe. We didn't get the thing from the bean.
But did he take care of his part of the thing? That's what I'm more concerned about. We'll make it up as we go, but I got to call up Talia. And as we're playing the dominoes game, I got to make sure your boy at least was able to go ahead and take care of the morgue situation.
Well, let's flip this first domino. He'll put the takeout box that he's had in his hand this whole conversation, like put it on the coffee table or on the couch, and he'll pull out.
Oh, fucking uncultured swine! This cost me money. He'll put it on the coffee table instead.
You move the takeout box from O'Malley's pub to the side. It has the little half smiley face on it that's become all the rage. And yes, it is soupy and greasy. You can kind of see that. But job done.
I shouldn't have said that. Now I'm hungry. I'll pull out my phone and I'll call Giuseppe Giovanni. I'll put it on. Well, I won't put it on speakerphone. That would be rude. I'm gonna have to get to know that. But I'm gonna call him.
Here it sounds like the scrubbing of dishes is it's picked up. No one says hello yet. You'll hear a few things clanging around, and then a very odd noise. It's kind of distinctive. It's the sound of something metallic slowly going through fabric, and you hear that fabric yielding, except it doesn't quite sound like clothing giving way. And you'll hear, yeah.
Hey, Giuseppe, it's Ramsey.
Caller ID, Ramsey.
Oh yeah, forget that's a thing. Yeah, I'm calling about the park pickup and the problem I was having in the morgue. Went to the park like you said. I didn't realize it was a dog park.
I'm sorry, a dog park?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you not know about them?
But you have a point.
Yeah, we didn't get to the thing because the dogs almost ripped us apart.
Oh, it's a coincidence. I was gonna do your thing, but I didn't get to it. Same thing. Strange. I'm here feeling bad about it. Like here I am working on stuff, and you're there working on stuff. Except you call to tell me you do something, and then I thought I didn't have time to complete what I was supposed to do for you. But oh, I'm so relieved that I have time.
Okay. All right. Well, glad to know we all have time. So,
In fact, the time I have, give me a second. You'll hear him put down what sounds like some sort of instrument and opens up a file cabinet, kind of a flipping of paper, and he goes, here, according to the file, here's the note. Oh, evidence request. I can only stall this for another week, tops. So it's either, because they requested it, it's either we have it or we don't. I put down that it was misfiled, and real curious it got misfiled considering it's a severed head. So, an odd thing. They're attached to bodies. Now, here I am looking at the body. That's slot number 7 over there. And it's still there. The cold does wonders. In fact, we just keep the head right on top of it. I mean, it'd be an easy thing to misplace that head. Or we like at a basketball factory or, somewhere where we just burn bits of bodies would be great, but we're not. Right? It's the county morgue. Everything here is dot the I, cross the T. What I'm pointing out is that it takes some great effort for us to handle this, but we're not unused to people not fulfilling their end, and what we're not about to do, especially a change like that, to make it clear to you. You do your end because your end. Well, let's say you fail, no biggie, right? You're not able to do it. You're not able to do it, and then I leave things and you let them continue as they were. That's just common sense. If I go ahead and eliminate this and do you another favor without you doing something for us, well, I'm going to get bent over, aren't I? Bent over by you. Because now you got something for free. Again.
That is fair. So within 1 week, and I'll look at Sully. You will have your drop off.
It's just a shame what that head said to me, though.
What?
Yeah, and you didn't hear what the head said?
I didn't. I did not.
It's Dan McNabb is who he was. Other than speaking about some terrifying thing that came for him in the body of a naked woman, whatever that was, I guess they were one and the same according to him. I know the reports. I know what I've heard, that there was some unseen entity. There was something there. The fact that you couldn't see it, well, let's just say Dan could. And you were the one who severed his head with a door?
Yeah, laundry washing machine.
Yeah, it's a considerable amount of lack of care to do that. I mean, you could have used a knife; that'd have been easier. But you had to crush his larynx after shredding a lot of the ligaments, and so the force of you to continue is immense. Like that had to feel a lot like crushing a can slowly by slamming it repeatedly. It had to fracture the glass, I imagine. And even then, when it went through the first couple tendons, it felt like warm bruising to him, and he had trouble breathing, and he was still begging for his life. And then he grabbed your ankle and he kept doing it. And I told McNabb, to relax. I'm only going to send you exactly what that feels like, Ramsey, when you don't do what I need you to do. Right? Because it's only fair. Even worse, though, he told us that you have a habit of doing this. That there are about 23 bodies attached to what you did at a hospital, where it started as 9 and escalates from there. I assume I'll have to go further. Those are things that I could request to have be brought back, and I'll have to do my due diligence and get something for all the effort. And at that point, let the prince know what I found.
Due diligence. Understood.
They didn't confirm that you guys were the ones who did that in Naperville, right?
They seem to believe it, but didn't confirm it. That's
No,
news to me.
if they knew it, you'd be dust. As Sullivan, the price of flaunting the masquerade is death, non-negotiable in the city of Chicago. That's what Kevin Jackson does. What I do, as a good member of my Econo organization, is I look out for opportunity. And I stalled the info. I obscured it. That's why they have trouble confirming. That trouble is easily untying the bow. I think they would give me feeding rights, though, for it. It's a delicate thing. Ramsey, you're good for it. I know. So you just call me back at the win, buddy. You have until Friday, technically. Not exactly a week, but it's a working week.
Close enough. Work day, yeah. I will call you back before then.
Thanks. Oh, consider it that it's the first thing on the list you were asked to do.
Uh-huh.
There was several pickups. That's just one.
Gotcha. And if that's it, he'll hang up.
Right. There's a long pause as the answer. You hear him pick up the tool and you just hang up.
Uh-huh.
You don't need to say hello when some asshole has you over the clothes like that. Or goodbye, I should say.
He'll put the phone down next to the box of wings. So, we have until Friday to get that pickup done.
Okay. So, all right. So I could call Tally then and let him know that everything's taken care of and we have until Friday to figure his part out, right?
It's not done until we do the delivery. That's how that works.
So you're saying we got to go back to the bean to get whatever's inside that solid bean.
Mm-hmm.
Do we even know what we have to get inside that bean? I mean, let's be real here.
Didn't you put a pigeon side of it?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I was more concerned with what was happening after that, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Yeah, well, we just need to get one out, apparently. Or whatever was in there.
What was in there, Ramsey? What are we supposed to get out of there?
I don't know, Sully. I wasn't the one that shoved a pigeon through it.
He'll clear his throat and he'll adjust his glasses. Ramsey, I need you to focus. All right, I need you to pay attention to me. Eyes up, right here. I need to understand specifically what we were supposed to do. He says we were supposed to retrieve what from this bean.
Sullivan, your phone is in a ring. It is in a. You're trusted if you can ignore the call if you like. It is to a local number. Just you don't recognize it.
Hold on a second, Rams. He'll pick up the phone. Carter.
Hey, is this Sullivan? Carter Sullivan? Is that the name?
That'd be correct, Sullivan Carter. How can I assist you this evening?
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't think I'd get a hold of you. You're a very important guy out here. Hi, I'm called. You probably know me as Sun. It's my nickname. I rather enjoy it personally. It's a good one. I think the point of the call is that I happen to know you guys are doing something for an old friend that's kind of a. How do I put this delicately? You like shadow puppets?
I am not a fan of shadow puppets, but I might have a
great. I'm not a fan of shadow puppets, right? You got it. You got it in once. You're really good at the charades thing. So I'm not a fan of shadow puppets. In fact, the people I represent aren't fans of shadow puppets. And we happen to know that the puppeteer may have been making the rounds. Yes, you do things. Yes or no. I want to give you an alternate avenue, something completely different. But I also want to give you a chance, though. You have to prove yourself. You like proving yourself, Sully?
Yeah, of course. Son, was it?
Yeah. You have it. I have the thing of it. Two things I need you to do. First thing would be, I have to know how good you are at handling a problem. I recently had a problem, something I could cover up, no problem. But I'd rather test to see if you were as good as the hype says. I'm told you cleaned up something in the city on behalf of Damien. We all heard it.
I did. It was great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, let's just say it meant mixed reviews. For some of us, there's some that accuse you of causing it. Ooh, it's a tough call, right? And, the shadow puppets would like us to believe that might have been the case. You caused it, thus you had to clean it up to save your own skin. And that's great. I have another theory. To prove that theory, I need you to get me the evidence of it. Okay?
Okay.
Very simple. It's an alternate method. I know that you may be doing a deal to work on that or whatever, but I need to know that you can get this evidence and get away with it. So I've given you a test. Currently, there's a hospital that I have the business of an associate who works at who's keeping an eye on a certain, project. A project that would be quite illegal if they're found out. If they're found out, they're going to jail for a very long time. That's a terrible thing, isn't it?
It is. Let me know.
Save them. If you rescue them and take care of what you find, I'll let you keep them because they got to die or be brought into camp. Very useful to you. And then give you kind of a toe in the water of where these incidents might be taking place with the shadow puppets trying to grow. You know what I mean?
I'm listening. He'll snap his fingers and he'll look to Ramsey.
All right. Where you're going is Rush Hospital. Okay?
Rush Hospital. Fucking write this down. Rush Hospital.
They have a new campus. They just opened it up. Turns out that in the grief counseling in this method, a certain priest that's here, he might have got a little ahead of himself. Somebody has up and killed themselves. Someone's dad died, I'm told. Someone didn't take it very well. I don't know. And I'm not very used to these things. But the point is, this person has died on his watch. Now, I happen to be a counselor for this guy. It's kind of what I do. He's a good friend, though. Many people he's sent my way. So I'm trying to bail him out, but I could just go there and make a few alterations, adjust a few books, get him assigned to a different place. But I thought to myself, man, Sully could really use a hand, a good chance to clean things up. Sully, was I wrong about you?
No, definitely not. We could make this happen for you. Rush
Nah.
Hospital, Chief Counselor.
I happen to know in my hand I have a work order. It's from a certain police department demanding certain evidence outstanding. And what they do here when this happens is they conduct an investigation to see why it's stalled, and it goes to the Cook County morgue. Now, it's been filed as missing. But you and I both know the difference, don't we, Sully?
Right.
What's missing? That's a hell of a coincidence considering the evidence. I mean, on here it's one severed head. Before you get ahead of yourself, you may be wondering how I know to call you and call you now. You may have noticed a few things. You did notice, didn't you? Like you guys walking around, kind of tabs being kept, little oddities being done. I'm told you guys have one of those types that can help you spot those things.
Yes.
It's not about me, though. This is important. This isn't about me. This is about helping you out. So Rush Hospital, not a problem. Okay. You know where the West Loop is?
Yeah, I know the West Loop.
Yeah, it's in that area. Go ahead and go there. Deal with it. It's great. You'll love it. Take care of this for me. And, well, let's just say your problems improve. You know, we turn them from problems to opportunities, and you want to do that, don't you?
Always.
Well, hey, Sullivan, how's your night going? Tell me about what's going on. What else can I do for you?
I mean...
Yep, coming. Talk to you later, Sullivan. Thanks.
Sure.
And he'll hang up.
He'll hang up the phone, and he'll turn his back to the group for a second, pinching the bridge of his nostrils. Before he takes a look back. Gentlemen, the situation has gone from bad to curious. We've been offered another opportunity to kind of fix the situation, so to speak. We have until Friday, you said, Ramsey?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just happen to know someone whose name, Bob, does Sun resonate with Sullivan in terms of like who Sun is?
You could do is give me a because based on I know D-Chain knows very well who that person is.
Right.
To go in of who Sullivan is to your character is a matter of your intelligence and your politics. This is because you're somebody who's getting into court. You're not exactly there.
Right. Exactly. Sure. 3 successes.
So, let me tell you what we know about this guy with 3 successes. It's mixed reviews. You know that there was someone called Ma O'Leary that was Primogen of the Malkavian clan for some time. Way back before you could remember. In fact, you remember Neely telling you that Ma O'Leary was someone to see to. Except with the regime change, i.e. Kevin Jackson becoming the new prince, you haven't seen her. You haven't heard of her. Nobody has, in fact. And suddenly, as far as he knew, you remember him obscurely saying her chilled son took over. And you thought it was Chilled's son. As in there's a guy whose name you were going to get later or was just irrelevant. And whatever, the son is who it is. Didn't really pay much attention to it. Putting it together right now, you may have just talked to him. Seems like a nice enough guy. There's just one problem. I'll give you that with your successes. It's how he handled the escape of the phone. It's a simple slip. That's 2 things. The other thing is, without you having to roll your politics here as well, actually, yeah, because your investigation is decent enough. There's that suspicious, we've been watching you. Who's been watching you? And for him to understand the call when he did, means somebody had to be watching you now. Right? That timing is acute.
He'll take a look back into the group, and so I had a gentleman by the name of Sun, who has an interesting background, probably tied to a Ma O'Leary, former Primogen of the city. He's offering us an opportunity to kind of turn the situation in our favor. I'm not going to lie, gents, as he uses the phone as a prop, tapping it against his hand. This is probably going to create more problems. But if we get ahead of the game, it only means more opportunity. This is just the way it's played. There's eyes on us, but we already knew that was going to be the case, especially dealing with this. That's fine. That's fine because we're in the spotlight. What we want to do is keep the eyes shining on us, right? Bright smiles, dancing, diets, all that good stuff. Anyways, he has a situation that we want to look into. And I think it's going to be to our benefit, considering that none of us want to go back to the park and have to deal with werewolves, was it? You'll look over at Slappy. You did say werewolf, right?
Yeah, I guess it was a man, and then it turned into a dog, and then it sprayed piss on me. So I assume werewolf.
How do you know it wasn't a furry?
What? He like transformed.
Are you kidding?
You mean what?
Listen, I've only heard stories of werewolves. I never seen one up front. In fact, I understand you went through a hard time, Slappy. I'm going to have to expect and understand that you're saying what it is that you're saying makes sense. So, okay, we'll say werewolves. So we're not going to go
carve my arm up.
Listen, like I said, I'm behind the scenes, all right? I don't get to see the special effects up front. My apologies, mea culpa. All right, anyways, they're telling me there's this location in the West Loop. If you haven't been there before, you may have. It's Rush Hospital. There's a certain gentleman who had probably caused a bit of a mess, and we want to go ahead and clean up that mess for him and get him out safely from that situation.
Warren,
I should say that we also have to clean up the mess. So that's going to be of importance. We just don't have to extract this person. We have to make sure that whatever mess is there, we clean up. I believe between all of us and your skills, we should be able to get out of this better off than we did with the werewolf situation. Are you folks game?
No.
So I told them we were going to do it. So I'm glad that you volunteered for the situation.
Warren, wasn't Rush Hospital that hospital Damien told us about?
What?
Yeah. We way back when, before things changed, Damien suggested that we go up to a hospital because there was a certain Malkavian brother who was getting ahead of himself. And we were supposed to off him and keep it quiet. Or at least find a way to deal with that. We might be talking about the same guy. I don't know. I don't know who this son person is. We never did go to the hospital. We could see.
I'm going to go with the assumption that we never had this conversation about offing another person. It's probably just easier for all of us to understand that. The fortunate part is we're not going to off anyone. We're not going to off this person. And our purpose is to go ahead and just clean up a mess and extract the goods. I'm certain we could probably get this done without there being any deaths, right?
Yeah. I don't know the guy. I don't have any reason to do him harm.
You got a phone call, and now we're supposed to drop what we were doing for Tally and the deal that I've been making with the Giovanni to go do something completely different?
Listen, right now what we're doing is we're setting up the contingency plan, all right? Number one, do you want to go deal with the werewolf right now?
Listen, there's something I need you to understand about Giuseppe Giovanni. Apparently that surname is a thing. Who did he say he was with? The Hakata. You've heard that name?
Recently. I know of them.
Yeah, he spoke with Dan McNabb. Do you know who that is?
No, why would I?
He's the guy whose head I severed. That's apparently what they do and why they have connections in the morgue. And he can do more than speak with people, so he says. Apparently, if we don't do this, not only is the head going to be sent to the police, I'm also going to have the memories of his decapitation implanted in my head. Something to that effect. I'm going to be honest with you.
That's a thing?
I'm going to be honest with you, Sully. I don't want that. I really don't. And I know...
I don't want it for you either.
I know that the lupines are scary. However, we're not the only people in the city that don't like the lupines.
How exactly did you guys manage to get attacked by a werewolf?
He'll look over to Slappy.
He'll just point at Slappy.
Look, man, I've told this story a bunch, but you know what? Let's hash it out again.
You don't have to tell me the story. Just tell me what happened that caused this creature of nightmare that I've never seen one of or heard of. Well, That's not exactly true. How did it come to?
Look,
Right.
we found a hobo in the park who said that he could get, well, he didn't, he said he saw pigeons going into the bean, right? So we all thought, man, this dude's fucking off his rocker, right? Nuts as a bag of marbles. But there had to be some truth there. So we looked, we searched, we talked to him. I earned my degree in pigeonomics. You got to call me Dr. Slappy now. And then I went to go put that pigeon through that bean, and then right behind me, that hobo had transformed into some ungodly teeth-filled creature who was about to eat me. Me, being the bad motherfucker that I am, turned around and scared him off. I gave him an old and he ran for the hills, but not before getting a good old chunk of slap, which is what led to the situation at the Blue Velvet, because I got mighty hungry repairing werewolf damage.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is don't talk to hobos. What else?
Yeah, don't talk to the hobos. They be eating people in the park.
And apparently, you could shove pigeons into a bean.
Do we have to break the bean at all?
I wouldn't suggest it. We went with a sledgehammer. That thing is solid. That thing is, it's a masterpiece. I'm not gonna lie. For as much as it looks like it's cheap on the outside, that thing is rock solid. We're not gonna be able to crack a hole into it.
Don't be so sure. But did the Giovanni tell us where to get the package other than the bean?
It's inside the bean, is what Giuseppe said.
So we have to break the bean.
Or do whatever pigeon foo our Dr. Pigeon knows.
But for clarification,
it sounds like there's a pigeon-sized hole that we need to make bigger. Because here's what's worrying me, right? There's another guy who's trying to like angle fuck the Giovanni out of their agreement. Something in the bean is desirable, right? So we haven't all the way promised the guy, the new guy, the guy you were just on the phone with, Sully. Whereas we've already made promises to the Italian with like corpse magic. I don't know.
Listen,
so
I'm not saying
let's just go to the bean and make the pigeonhole bigger.
Are you saying bean or beam?
Bean.
Bean, as in the Cloud Gate bean, as in that reflective piece of work in Millennium Park where all the kids could stand underneath it and they don't get headaches, but adults do.
Oh, that
type of bean. Yeah, that.
What?
Let's just go to the bean and make the pigeonhole bigger.
I'm not sure you understood exactly what was happening here. He shoved a pigeon into a solid art sculpture.
Sullivan, your phone's going to ring again. Only this time it says that it's Neely, Edward Neely.
Oh, shit. Hold on a second, guys, and you'll pick up the phone. Carter speaking.
Hey, Carter, how you doing? It's your buddy. Wanted you know we got clan business. This is very important. I know we're not supposed to do it on the phone and say that, but
Sure.
Yeah. For all anyone's going to know, we're Ku Klux Klan, right? What's the harm between us, eavesdroppers? Ho, ho, right? The rules. I'm just chucking with you. Listen, I don't know how to tell you this. You've earned I don't know what you did, but, well, hey, maybe you want to tell me. You have a meeting with the Primogen, our Primogen. And you have a meeting with him by my clock, 1 hour.
All right. I'll be there.
It's at Carson's Ribs, just so you know. Gotta remind you, I know you haven't met him in a long time. You remember your P's and Q's though, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's about all I could tell you. It's tough to say this. It's different times, but we met. The board met, and we're kind of getting pressure from Jirosha. You know what I mean? So we don't really get a say in how that goes out, and it comes from that high up. Other than we got to do what is said before us. You know, we all pull our own weight. However, your membership fees will be comped for where you're at. That's what the Primogen's offering for your time tonight. That means you just show up, and that's the gift he's offering for you to hear him out. So it's an opportunity.
Understood. All right. I will. By the way, Mr. Neely, if I could, it has been some time. Do you happen to have an idea of what our Primogen has favor to. I want to get him a little something before meeting him.
Yeah, honestly, I got to tell you, he's unique. Mr. Ballard, there's a couple things that one could do for him. First and foremost, respect the entire time, like you would any member of the Primogen Council. Expect your decorum to be stellar, right? Your dignitas has to show through here. That's a proper venture, right? The second thing you got to do is, well, Ballard is a man who loves rarity, food, delicious food, the best. He has a very interesting condition. He didn't lose his palate on the embrace, and he was a very larger than life man who enjoyed his food very much as he enjoyed his women and rumored his boys. There was a mix. I do mean that. Let's just say that was probably a better guy, right? You know what I mean? I'm trying to point out the fact that he might be an Epstein fan more than not. Does that ring a bell?
Right. Okay.
Okay. So because of that, deep pockets, deep connections, everything's great on the up and up. No risk of him. But we're not judging his morality. You want to know what to get him? Rare vintage blood would be my guess. Someone so irresistible that he'd appreciate the offer, or a food type that maybe is unique that speaks to the city. On one end, you can go with the angle of showing him that you know Chicago so well, you know the right way to butter him up, and it might just be his favorite food. As to what that is, I couldn't tell you. When I say that Chicago's different, Capone and Ballard used to war back and forth all the time, and they didn't care. Their dignitas did not beseech them to hide it, and this is because of the Prince Loden. You catch my drift. And when Daddy's on the throne, I guess you get leeway. This left me often picking up scraps. What I do is I keep my head down. I hear what he has to say. All the Lord, thank you, platitudes I could possibly give. And note that when he asks for your help, it's for dividends every time.
Right. Okay. I will I'll meet up with Mr. Ballard then. Mr. Neely, I appreciate everything. I'll keep you informed how that meeting goes.
You got something you want to tell me?
Regarding,
I want to let this go, but why did he choose you?
I mean, he'll look to the guys and he'll be like, "Gents, give me a second," and he'll walk to another room to kind of speak. And you'll be like, to be honest, Mr. Neely, I'm not too sure. However, there's a lot going on here that we're cleaning up. If you understand. Hey, if to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's because I have a stellar group that I'm working on right now. And to be even more,
I want to believe that bullshit. But hang on, you're talking to me, right? I taught you your shtick to bullshit.
Right.
That's who taught you how to do it. So I know the song and dance. I'm being real with you. For the fact that your name came up in a clan meeting at all, it was for me to go, okay, what's going on? He's the one dragging the defunct Sabat wannabes through the fucking ringer, trying to get them a reputation repair right now to prove your shtick at doing that. Once you do that, that's going to earn a name for you. And then I will understand where it came from. But not knowing now, that's how it was done. I'm suspicious because he received a call from Mexico. How do I know? We have our ways. But the whole board's been talking about it. Why did we get a phone call from Mexico that went to Ballard only? And in the end of it, they asked for you by name as being one who can help him. Now, you have your secrets. I just want to let you know that I don't miss a step with you. Not a thing. Good job. Good job.
Thanks.
This is exactly how you build your reputation. A little mystery, a little name in the right place. But I warn you, people are thinking, got a lot of ties to Mexico. That's a lot of ties to the Sabat as far as they're concerned. Be careful.
I will. I'll think on that. Yeah, if there's anything I could say, I'll give you a heads up, Mr. Neely.
Yeah, you got it. He'll hang up.
He'll hang up too. Does he have any idea what the hell he might be getting to from Mexico, even using?
What I would do is look at your sheet. That's what I would do, sir.
Right. He is going to between his
You might
influence
look at a
in-
certain lore sheet.
right.
A little refresher, right? Spin a bit.
Right. He will. he'll take a look through his Rolodex and he'll take a look at a name that he may or may not think would actually. He's like, holy shit.
I mean DJ, as in Chris W.
Yep.
Take a minute, read your lore sheet.
I
right?
know.
You noted it, and it should be plain as the nose in your face. If not, I will directly message you.
Right. No, that's why he's sewing. He's the character, Sullivan's a mace. He's gonna look up the list and he's gonna be like, I wonder if she, and he'll place a phone call if he can to see whether or not it was her.
Well, how would you know? Now remember, your rank in said lore sheet is not high enough to where you call
Right.
anybody with her name at all.
Right.
What
Of
it
course,
is,
of course.
you're on the list.
Right.
That's different. Now you do have someone, a personal attendant, who keeps an eye on you. Make sure the house is clean. Make sure your dry cleaning's done. It's the retainer you didn't have to pay for, but comes with certain rules, right? The
Right.
retainer is hands off,
Right.
right? Because it ruins everything if it gets sent away, or your
Yes.
route, or
This
anything.
is true. Right.
But
Right.
this
Right.
will help support you and open doors. A door just like this one.
He'll be like, son of a bitch, and he'll raise an eyebrow at that, and he'll just like walk out of the room, halfway smiling, but he'll clear up his throat. All right, gents. Here's what we need. You ready for this? I have to go to an important meeting in about an hour's worth of time, so you have me for at least about a good 20 minutes because traffic is a motherfucker, and I have to get over to Carson's real quick. Couple of things. One, I need to know what direction you guys are going to go because I want to meet up with you afterwards. If you're going to go to the park, don't make a mess. I'm going to stress that. Don't make a mess. I'm telling you, the easier one, and he'll walk over to like his nice kitchen counter and he'll pull out a little sticky note. He'll write down the information regarding Rush Hospital, son, grief counselor, fixed mess, and he'll slap that sticky note onto the coffee table in front of you. Go to this instead. You call me if you need anything. This is the best I could provide for you. But this meeting is very important. If I land this meeting right now with a very important person, this will buy us some breathing room. It'll probably offer us some protection, at least publicly. And the best thing we have is public image to protect us. So I'm doing my part to protect you. Can we agree to that?
Sure.
That doesn't sound fucking comforting, Warren. What the fuck? Slappy.
I mean, with all due respect, we just talked about how there was werewolves and shit at the park, and then you all of a sudden have a meeting to go to. I got a meeting to go to actually in like about an hour too. Like,
Yep, I think I'm gonna run down to the freshman dorms and pick up some of these hoes since you got a meeting, my dude.
All right. Cards on the table. I am meeting with Primogen Ballard. The Primogen Ballard.
Hey, you got a meeting. I take your word for it. What I'm saying is that I'm not going to fight werewolves with any less than my full strength. I'm also not going to the park into a situation, to the hospital into a situation I know nothing about without my full strength. So you handle it. We'll fuck off somewhere and figure it out.
Jesus Christ. All right. Text me. Only call if it's necessary. You have to understand. This is a big what to do. All right. Actually, by any chance, out of curiosity, do any of you have any access to some interesting blood, for lack of a better term? Specific meals, rarities, maybe even real food, right? Like,
Don't.
what do Filipinos eat? Like, what's that duck embryo or chicken embryo? Balut? Is there anything around the city that you guys might know I'd be able to choose on? Because this guy has a very, very interesting and refined palate.
Ramsey will pick up the box of boneless wings. I think there's a lemon pepper.
Fuck you, man. He'll start walking out the door.
Did I say something wrong?
Not at all.
He asked you for a rarefied flavor and you was like lemon pepper.
Look, I love lemon pepper. Who doesn't?
Jesus. All right, that's going to be a thing. On his way out, Bob, I think since I did join up that membership, I would like to use my little black book for the circulatory system to try to find something for Ballard that he may or may not like.
All you have to do is tell me, what do you think that guy would want? You have a way of maybe guessing what would be up his alley.
all I could think of is Dave Chappelle Cambodian breast milk.
Dave Cambodian breast milk. That's an interesting choice.
I mean-
on feet.
What hasn't he had?
Monkey brain.
I'm gonna look for. My intent is to find him. I think he's always been sweetened up. I'm gonna try finding him something nice, tart, and sour, or something with a little bit of kick to it.
So you're either hunting, and then you're somehow going to package that and bring it to him, or you're going to what exactly?
I'm gonna
Remember, this is V5. You could hunt for someone or something that has a disgracia, right?
yes.
Someone that might give a permanent feel that is so into something that does that. But who to pick? Who to run down? That is a thing one can do. The blood can be felt that strong. That's one option. You just got a membership to a place that has access if you've got money for the right amount of anything, really. And you
Yes.
can look to bring the bottle to give the good impression. The other option is you can bring the person that would give the same good impression. But what do you think is better?
I think I would like to bring him a person, considering his stature, and I want to show him my resourcefulness that I just can't easily buy something. I want to provide him a nice vessel.
Well, sir, we're in the same ballpark. We're seldom get his hands on the right person. You tell me.
I would like to. Perhaps I'd be able to use. I want to use my influence in high society to see if I have someone who just meets that taste.
That's a very bold move. So, your highest societies in real estate is going to be a tough call, but I'll allow you to do an intelligence. We'll do intelligence, include your influence rating, and we're going to give you 2 dice only because you have a particular feeding style that adds to this method of selecting as well. There may be someone in the real estate area you happen to know of or remember that's a particular flavor temperament, we'll say.
Ready and go. I would like to spend willpower, sir, if possible.
What I will say on here, the option I'll give you can succeed at a cost because sometimes you just can't find that person. I don't think
Okay.
your will to find them would be any different than the result, do you?
I will then choose to succeed at cost because this is a very important meeting and he cannot
Okay.
afford to flub this up.
So, to that basis, let me check this out. You're trying to decide whether or not you can get the right amount, right? Actually, I don't know why I didn't look at the roll is what it is. I got down here. I got it. It's because it's not the exact result you wanted. You want to make it better, right? That was the goal.
Right.
Okay, you have to worry about that. You needed successes. That's it. See, it's 2. That's more than enough, right? You do have a family because you are using influence. Because this isn't a succeed at cost thing. You've succeeded. You just want best results. You do have your idea of a family that is, well, rather unique. We're unique because they're from South Africa. You do have that ability to tell them good news about a house if you want to try to finagle paperwork, give a reason for you to come by, although that would brings up a different opportunity, I'd say. How does one make a person disappear? You know, it's a simple husband and wife, and you know they have theories of or not theories. They have a want to bring over their cousin once they get things settled where they're at to attend university in the States. And they have that plan to come on, and it's a $656,000 home that's had an what you call it? I forget what it is. It is Lawndale. That is the selected area. Now, what's significant about that? Nothing, save for the fact that that's the house they selected because the recent repairs. They were looking for a place that folks recently replaced the boiler. It's as furnished, and that was a good benefit. And you have that too. And they took the hit on the square footing for the better spot. That's all well and good, and Sullivan knows it, but you are very nervous at the fact that right now, one of those people aren't coming back, depending on who you select.
I will select the male of the group.
Okay. Target said husband. How do you want to do this? You know it, you have it, you thought about it, you know what you got to do.
I want to give him a phone call, and I want to entice him with the possibility of being able to not only bring over his cousin, but bring over their cousin or their family member a lot sooner by having a meeting with someone who's very, very affluential who'll be able to make that happen. And this could also be a doorway for them to succeed within the city of Chicago.
I'm going to tell you why that's odd. You make your roll. This will be your charisma subterfuge. But what I'm going to take away is 1 die.
Gotcha.
Let the charisma sing for itself. I'm going to take away 1 die because very unusual. You're the real estate agent. They could give a shit less about what door you're opening for them in the city of Chicago. They didn't come to you saying we're looking for opportunity into the politics or the social strata. They came to you saying we have money, we have wealth, this is how we want to use it, and we want a safe home and a place that's decent for the money that we select and are willing to pay.
Right. Okay. Five sixes.
Here's what happens. That's what the husband says. Very easily. He starts telling you that, you don't tell me that I need an opportunity. I'm fine. I'm well employed. I'm an architect. This is what I do. I know the scene. I know the people. And you hear in the background, honey, I'm so bored. If he knows anybody that we can hang out and talk with, I'd very much appreciate it. Well, you're bored, sweetheart. And you'll hear that conversation. And then he begins speaking a language you don't understand. But you can hear the emotional, the cooing, the few smooches that exchange. And he's like, okay. All right. We'll meet this person. They're not requiring money, I assume?
No, not at all.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. I'm sorry that I'm such a pain in the ass. It's odd coming to America. It's the land of opportunity, and they hear South Africa, and they think our pockets are open. And it's an odd switch. Where I'm from, you don't approach people about their personal business like that.
I apologize if I was a little forward with you. I was only looking in your best interest. I hope you understand.
Yeah, just tell me when, and I'll be ready.
Sure. And he'll give him a time and date.
All right. 10 minutes from now, I'll be at your house shortly. Is that what you're doing? I'm just
right. I just happen to be in the neighborhood.
All right. Funny enough, he doesn't have transportation secured. It takes a minute to get his IDs approved and get the right car that they have, though they have a garage and they had an interest. So they got to have a vehicle somewhere. Your assumption is either the wife drives or, quite frankly, they have a car that they bought and just is sitting waiting for him to get his ID to be able to drive it. Could be all the above. You don't really care. Point is that when you roll up, he, of course, is downstairs waiting for you to get in. This leaves you just enough time, about 25 minutes, really, to a half hour to make it all the way into the city to Carson's itself. You have that amount of time to tell me. I'm not going to question your ability to bullshit this guy, but are you going to bother bullshitting him and talking up when you get here? Because we have to understand something, Sullivan. You're giving a gift, but understand if you tell me, Bob, I'm cooking for him, come over to your house, man. I'm in the area of Sweden. It's going to be great. You're stopping by. Oh, great. Finally, I get some meat. God, cool. And you come in the door and you bring in the cow. You just got to butcher it right here. I got to tell you, I'm going to be a little pissed. I don't think it's cool, but I'm going to be real mad that I now have a cow because we're not killing a cow in the house. Right? We're not having that mess spill everywhere. I don't know where we can kill a cow. And I'm pretty positive I can get in trouble killing a cow city limits without at least inviting the neighbors and some police. And that's it. So, it's you're bringing in opportunity. Sure, you're bringing meat, but at the same time, it's a hidden headache is what we're looking at. So, like a crazy person, you can walk in and go, here's the guy I brought. He's for you to eat, and watch this guy go, don't eat me, run around and whatever, and you have to secure him. Like, yeah, these mortals these days, huh? What'd you need, big guy? You could go with that impression, or you were looking, I'm assuming, for a better one to give.
I would like to. Sullivan's going to do a dual thing. If he's going to bring him the cow, this cow is a singing cow. Why? Because he has connections to. Do I know if this guy is well off enough that I could probably use him as a tether to be like, hey, Ballard, by the way, you could actually use him because he has South African connections. This could actually increase something for you.
You're going by assumptions and your ability to bullshit a centuries-old vampire who's a god, a tycoon in finance is up to you if you want to do that. But that to me sounds like you're trying to trick the devil out of a deal, right?
Right. No.
Because you could sell a car.
I don't know how I'm going to squeeze this lemon.
I'm not
Would my
saying you do it. What I'm saying is what you have on the guy you have in the car is a limited background check, which is as much as anybody does for a real estate agent. So they could prove, yes, they can afford what they have. You know,
Right.
he's a stellar credit rating. Caveat. Anybody coming into the country for the first time, if they have an ability to see their credit, it's equivalency they're looking at. Not that they've been able to consistently pay, but wherever they're from, however they handle their finances, the American taxpayers, the IRS, looks at that, and you have the knowledge to know they make an assessment based on it. So it's not their actual ability because they haven't proven that yet. They'll get a chance to, though, if they can do that with the house. So they can do it enough to get a home because they have assets, no doubt, elsewhere. So you know this guy has a house back home, maybe even two or more, just judging
Right.
by the fact that they came back with the flying colors. And it took less time than anyone else. And I won't say anyone else. It's not like that it was odd. It's just typically it's about a month and a half to two. You're going to hear thumbs up or thumbs down about someone. This guy you got back in 2 weeks.
Okay, so he does have some value to him then. I'm going to play that up then. I'll do the small talk to kind of get from him what his life was like when he was back home, to see if I could extract that data and use that to kind of help bolster my offering to Ballard.
Well, this will count as one final roll here to see if you can get this guy on your bus or train here.
Right.
The most important thing your character could do now as you're trying to get him to open up is to tell him what he's getting into. He's nervous. He's in the car with you because he's going to meet people he doesn't know.
Right.
And so where he hasn't said anything, probably a cultural thing. You're not telling him, he's not really offering. It's not on him to tell you what's going on. It's on you to tell him. How he dressed was casual because he doesn't know if it's supposed to be stylish or not. He's just dressed to go out with the guys, it seems. And for him, he's comfortable. Looks very good. Ironically, he looks like he could be in a Mac commercial. You know what I mean? It's like the black turtleneck looking nice and whatever, and sophisticatedly, focus on the product, not on the colorful thing. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. That's how he's dressed. No issues in regarding the fact that maybe this guy doesn't really care who he's meeting because you said it'd be good for him. And he only really is caring about his wife. You know, he took ear beatings in the best of ways to consider outside of himself. So at least you know he's selfish. So knowing that info, once you can pull from immediately, not necessarily interested, is very neutral towards you, except for the fact that you know he has an agenda and he's looking to set up those connections. It's up to you how you want to do this. Now, you don't have to tell me exactly what you're going to say because we're going to let the dice sing here to be quick about it because it's not relevant what you're necessarily saying, but how well your character delivers it.
He is going to make introductions about this man being the person they're going to meet is a very, very powerful person, and is very, very impressed with the fact that this gentleman has come in and made an impact. He's going to bullshit him up for that, but he's going to share just how much of an impact this is going to change his life.
Your manipulation subterfuge, sir. I'm going to give you his one bonus die because he doesn't like their ego stroked, even though he's neutral. But he's shrewd. From where he's from and what he does, you're not the first person to try to get him for finances or tell him how great he is to set him off balance to then make an impression on people who no doubt are going to ask him for money, which is his assumption. By the way, anybody with loot? Oh, you're taking me to a party? Who's looking for money?
Right.
So, again, the angle you go at this guy is stellar. When you tell him its doors open up, people have heard of you. Oh, they've heard of me. Well, what did he like? Was it the properties I designed in Germany? The skyscrapers had a particular angle that was difficult. And I fought to contact my friend, Hakame. He is a designer, but doesn't necessarily build. I'm a builder who doesn't have time to design most time. And at that point, you've checked out. Right? Once you hit gold, you're listening to him go over highbrow terms. I can't even fake here. But it's architectural stuff that he's telling you about. And he's dropping important names that he's done, buildings he's done. But you hear at least 11 buildings he's worked on in his lifetime, whether it was to help design on a team or his personal 3 he's built from the ground up that people are very happy with. How he lost the bid to redesign the World Trade Center, right? How to get that on. He did get picked, though, to be in the final 5 as to what design and who was going to do what. And that's important because it launched his career, gave him an idea about America being opportunity. And he tells you something that might be important later on for Sullivan. It's this: America's dated. Unlike Europe, America doesn't keep up with its buildings, so the buildings have no historical value. None of them are of native. They're not Native Americans because they're not indigenous. They didn't build anything on that land. They took this land. It's been stolen, right? And you hear him say that. Well, in Europe, you have families that have owned that land. They were born on that land, and that is theirs. Because of that, they do the upkeep and they take care of it. And it may go through generation to generation. At a point, the historical societies help out. You may lose the building. When he goes through that, the one thing to remember in your head, because you rolled so well, is okay, a lot of American buildings are going up for a renovation. People looking to spend more money to see their stuff get put up and done.
Yeah.
Capitalism's great. But that's more like a financial tip, just FYI, or whatever potential you can use for it. But that's what he says as you pull up to Carson's itself. Now, before we get to that, I'm going to put up just a picture of Carson's so you can get a handle on it and decide your approach. I help everyone this way. It's because I don't want you feeling lost or needing help in any capacity. Anyway, enough stalling. Carson's sign, its build is a steakhouse, and that's great. Certain you can oogle and ogle there for a moment. But the interior and layout, when you walk in the door and you're waiting, it is as empty as I'm showing it to you right now. Perhaps on purpose. You assume exactly so. All those, the entire bar is empty except for at the opposite end, you'll see Ballard, and we'll get that in a second. And he's sitting there with a personal attendant who is just handing him a tablet, explaining to him what's on it. Ballard isn't doing anything weird or odd like you maybe have textbook expected him to be. At the moment, he's just looking at the tablet, and he seems, ironically to you, stressed. But we'll hold that thought. Getting back to everyone else. You're going to a park. We're heading right to the bean. No, Warren, I heard you, but you didn't say anything. You know what I mean? You're muted.
I meant what I said to DJ. I wasn't at the bean the first time. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they've already tried. I'm not going without my my information, people.
Sure thing.
They said
So you're going to go to the university?
Yeah.
You were joking. You're going to the university, see if you score. You're feeding.
But essentially, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't even need to be a scene because I need my game.
Okay. So you're going to go feeding. What about you, Ramsey?
Well, I'm not going to go feed. I don't need to. I'm to be honest, Ramsey's gonna hang out with Slappy.
You're going to hang out with Slappy. Okay.
I just imagine Slap because like I made it pretty clear, like fuck that. He's not going. I'm not going. Like we go in this together. So if Ramsey's just gonna hang out with Slappy, Slappy's gonna be like look around, probably find a deck of cards. I'm sure he's got one in his nice place.
Okay, we'll play poker for chicken wings.
Well, he's just gonna shoot the shit. He's just gonna tell him stories. He's gonna be like, yeah, he's like, that's what the blues is all about. Just having suffering, you gotta suffer in life if you want to have emotion, and literally just talk his ear off, because someone's willing to listen, right?
I'm with you. That's a lot. That's pretty intense. We're going to only saying it's intense because I'm laughing, right? That seems to be a worthwhile thing to hear. But we're going to agree that what you're doing is getting to know you, hanging out.
Uh-huh.
Is that right? I unfortunately have to make that a smaller portion here because the scene's ongoing and he's doing feeding. Is that fair, guys?
All good.
Yeah, that's 100% okay.
All right, Rod, are you doing anything? Are you hanging out with them, playing cards? Because they're waiting for Sullivan to come back. The only person
I'm going to pick up the sticky note that he made, and I'm gonna start trying to figure out how the hell we're gonna go in there and extract somebody. So he's just gonna, that sticky note is just gonna pick it up, go over to a table, and just start empty notebook and just try and figure out how he's gonna do it.
Well, if it can, Rot maybe have a notebook in hand and you could sit there and do that. I may help you with this a little bit better than that. Your guy can investigate. In fact, that's what he does.
Yes.
Right? Sits there unseen, can go look at a place. Why don't you go there? I mean, if he's going out feeding, these guys are sitting here and he's got a meeting. It's nothing for you to bump out there, see what's worth seeing, and come back. It's not like you're observed.
I like this approach.
Okay. So it's two things we're going to do, and we'll get to both you and Mike here. Owe me a die roll. We'll see how well this goes. For you, this is going to be a roll to gather information. It's essentially what you're doing. You need to give me a wits, and we're going to go with stealth here to see how good this is. But I'm going to give you as much information as your investigation does based on how well you stealth here. There's a caveat here. I'm assuming we're going to be in unseen passage.
You bet, sir.
Okay. Are we doing silence of death as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to give you your obfuscate rating to roll in dice on top of that.
Okay.
What you roll is what you roll. Let me see what you get. Mike, how are you feeling?
I think I'm going to go to the library. I'm going to find somebody who looks stressed and try to distress them with my alluring masculine charms. So I'm going to carouse.
You're going to go to the library, look for a stressed person, and see if you can brighten their day.
Yeah, exactly. You have it.
Fancy a little sexual chocolate in your coffee? Always picks me up. Okay. Jokes aside, I have a couple things to remind you of. First and foremost, your character is aware of his predatory bent. What I'm saying is, Warren really wants to be this guy that he envisioned he used to be. This charming, sexual guy, kind of over sexual charm, I should say, really full of himself. And Warren knew that deep down, right? And how you know that is because this is how I gauge it. Look at your composure and your resolve. Those are indicators he was an average guy. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
Because of that, you know that your vampiric power has swelled your ego and that you think you might be able to do anything, but you're intelligent enough to be introspective to know that's not the case. You also know your character has a handicap. He's not so quick on his feet when dealing with a lot of people. This hampers his communication. Well, now you have something inside you that doesn't care. Before you go through the effort of seducing someone, now the fact that they're alone, it's just simpler to race over there, force their head down, and bite the back of their neck. Does the same thing. They can't resist your kiss. They won't forget you and remember a pleasurable moment. What's so wrong with that? You were there, you feed, you get out. No need to get a phone number. No need to worry about your cologne. And who cares? They're mortal. Their life is a blink. Oh, she can't pay her bills. He can't deal with the headaches he's getting at home. The paper is too hard to do. Like you find yourself with this apathy and negative outlook on the human life so strongly. I'm going to need a resolve composure roll to force those feelings away to allow you to do this scene the way you want it to be.
Okay. Hunger included?
No, hunger's not included. You're literally trying to ignore the impulses of your for humanity.
And here we go. 2 successes.
So, two's enough. Two's enough to get you to realize that you've been staring at this woman in the library sitting by herself. She's a brunette. One leg's crossed over the other very demurely. She has her laptop right in front of her, pulled out close so she can angle it a little bit to type away. She's got a nice piping hot cup of something sitting next to her in a cute little mug. And by cute, it has some sort of cozy around it to keep it warm, but she doesn't burn her hand. Obviously, doesn't want that to happen. Well-lotioned hands, very much. This is what a aspiring university black man would want, what Warren would like. Right? The setup seems it's written all over her face as you study her. She's alone, but look how she did her hair. She's out and she wants to be noticed, but she's not going to suffer a fool. She wants to be approached a certain type of way, but wants to be respected. She's studying. She's at work. She's not looking for just anybody to walk up and kind of take her attention away to something. But she is looking for it. She just doesn't know she's asking you for it. And here's the thing. They're all going to say they don't ask for it until it's the right guy that's asking. Right? It's sort of Warren's mentality. It is still a very predatory mentality, but it's sort of the mindset of a siren as well. And you feel more of your old self that you're able to do it. However, there is a truth. How hard would it be to walk up and force her head down, bite her in the back of the neck and feed it accordingly. Especially when you look around, there's about maybe 3 other people in this whole library, and it's immense at UIC, right? It's up and downstairs. It has space, and not like you're going to be there for 20 minutes. Whatever. We're stretching old legs. To do this accordingly, though, depends on your approach. Are you going to be suave about it and go with that? Or are you literally going to walk up and strike up a conversation, try to convince her to leave with you? Let's go for real coffee. Let's get a meal.
I got to be suave, right? I got to be slicker than a can of oil. You know what I'm saying? I would like to try to like pull something immense, right, from my recollection. Maybe a piece of poetry, something damn near a pickup line that will instantaneously steal her attention from whatever that is she's reading and not paying attention to me.
I would say it's a charisma and subterfuge if I ever heard it. You're trying for sort of a fast talk, smooth. Let me get at you. Let me holler at you. Holla at you. Holla at you. Holla. Right? It's a different thing that you're doing. Here's the twist, though. You're not witty.
Facts.
You owe me 2 dice, sir. Take it right off that list.
All right.
I think a person with the wits of 1 trying to be witty is a little hard. And this is a thing of wit, but you're relying more on smiles and way of being, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember how specialties apply in V5. Does that change its roll at all?
The roll is it gives you a die.
Okay. All right. So -2 +1?
Yep, you got it. It's -1. Now, I'll remind the player, I don't know if I'm a vampire. I remember my stuff.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I do happen to have presence. I'll rouse first for all.
There you go.
And
there
then
and then 2 dice, right? That's important. You want to
Thank you, Bob.
exactly what we do this for.
Listen, it's been a while, okay? Don't judge me.
That's long time before the Sabbat learned to feed. This is like rehab.
Yeah, I would. All right, here we go. Why are we doing this? Damn it. I'm going to just do a standard roll in the interest of time.
All right. It's up to you. We can let this stand where it is, or does one wish to put a little willpower polish on it? Try to net some more successes here?
Yeah, I definitely need to polish this. I'm in public. This needs to be good.
Polish away, sir. It's your willpower. Select the reroll here. It's 3 dice. We can throw back at it.
Why is it asking me to? I'm confused. Oh, wait. I rolled a die to rouse and I got a success. Now I need to roll the actual pool. Or I confuse myself.
You selected the reroll, right? And you got 1. That's all it is.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm seeing here. We got boom, boom. Okay. Regardless, it's more than enough, right? And this is why. When you think of terms like a basic roll, I'm going to explain this distinction. If Michelli was there and you walked up with charisma subterfuge and got 3 successes, no awe. But you're a vampire and you walk up and you may have a less pull, but you have awe and you get 1 success. What do you think does better?
Me. I'm using the supernatural boost.
You're absolutely right. I won't say it's zombified. Here's the effect. When you walk up to this girl, the line you use lets you know. What you do is you go, your hair is winter fire, January embers. You know, my heart burns there too. And she actually stops and looks at you. Did you just quote Stephen King? And she goes, that's not even correct. That would be my line if I wrote you poetry. What do you do? And you go, my bad, it's terrible. I don't know. And is there any way to approach a beautiful, smart woman sitting alone and just to be like, here's some cheesy shit. Let me buy you a drink. And with that, she goes, well, you may put your foot in the mouth, but I like to watch you eat it. Don't you have a seat? And you do. You smoothly sit down and she smiles. She'll put the laptop up to the side and you start a little conversation back and forth, right? You get that she is studying, that she is working on a homework paper that seems annoying. It's it is in economics, but it's also in dealing with racial economics specifically. That there's a big push with the campus doing kind of an overhaul of African American lives and their place in society, but also poverty, period, and how that's impacted them, and it actually impacts Caucasians. And she's to the point to where she's saying that there's no different mix in poverty for that other than racial color, and she thinks she found a bias relating to the fact that long time ago it used to be a segregated populace. You can favor one more or the other, but there are far more Caucasian people who are poor now than there ever were, and as she says, Negroes as well. And it's interesting. She uses the term Negro, and this tells you that she's more than woke. She's not one to callously call it black that everybody's used to, because that's sort of the whatever. We'll deal with being called that, and that's that, because you recognize the we and whatever. Why does she use Negroes? Interesting. Well, if she's versed, she will know that that was a more choice term back in the day, right? That was like a 60s, 70s civil rights movement thing, which you are well versed in and understanding it. And this helps you get comfortable with it. But when she stops and tells you, I still don't understand why be called anything, right? If the N-word's bad and Negro is an N-word, and to me, it's just the inference is there. If I call you a Negro versus, well, a nigger, isn't that the same thing? I'm being polite about it. Wouldn't I just call you Warren? Wouldn't that be the only distinction? That'd be the best method, right? Why do you have to be a different person? Why do I have to be a different person? And you find yourself, you kind of like her. That's the thing, right? There's back and forth, and she's willing to look and challenge everything she's talking about. And you're smooth enough to keep it on her. Now, you realize something. You're a guy with aspirations. You're a person who also looks at every opportunity as just that. You could make her one of the willing. I call them the flock of Warren. You could give her that good bite, call it a day, and know that whenever you want a conversation with Donna, as you learn her name is, you can come back to it, hit the well, get at least one Caucasian lady to understand the plight of the African American male, right? Get a little bit and then move on. Or you could treat her like the person she is and realize, no, this is a real person with the right push. Like this paper now, who knows what she could do later on? Because when you have forever to think about it, Warren might very real be able to put one of his big objectives back up on the board. Lost to him in the Sabbat.
Yeah. So what immediately comes to my mind is if I look at her and I see value, and her conversation tells me that she's more than food, which I have to struggle to remind myself that people are more than food, and I get that impression from her just by the way she talks. I don't want to disrupt that with a supernatural compulsion. I do intend to feed, but it would be a higher priority to me to sustain a relationship with a person who's bright, even in my dark world.
So we're rolling for a different thing then. You have her hook. We won't contest it. It's there. I want one final roll. What this is if it goes to a dark place. This is resolve composure. This is because despite your best intentions, the beast has a full agenda and a different thing. Donna, you're seeing in glimpses of a dumpster. Donna, you're seeing how delicious her righteousness is going to taste. She can fill you back up. You can feel something lying to you, that the more she suffers, it's going to make you feel better because she understands what ancestry has done, she can make up for a lot. And you realize the lie for what it is, but that doesn't take away the anger you've always felt. But maybe the act will. And then there's the Warren they're both Warren. One, you're trying to get to see reason. One is pure instinct. Give me a resolve composure to fight this result.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Come on. Why?
Why?
What? One second.
We got seconds.
This dice bot is killing me. All right, here we go. And there we are.
Okay. Here's how it works out. You spend your time. Time clock total for feeding is 1 hour, right? For me, you knew the place already. You knew where you were going. It's the time to do what you got to do, right? And you worked on it up to get that fate-filled kiss, right? It's odd that you get it because you hear in conversations she tells you, she says she's a lesbian. Very much. But I want to tell you the power of awe. right? How this works out is as you're talking to her and whatnot, you get her to talk about why she's a lesbian and that she's just attracted to women. It's that simple. And you went, that's deep. I guess I'm always wanting that what I can't have. And then she starts laughing. She goes, don't worry, the right girl's out there, I imagine. And you say something smooth like, I'm looking at the right girl. You know, man's got to know his limitations. And hell, if I can get your number, I'd like to be your friend at least. And she's like, yeah, but maybe. But then she does something. You notice her body posture leans into you a little bit. She kind of scoots in a little bit to put her hand in your knee to let you know it's okay. And she can't deny something in her. And for the first time, Warren feels horrible. She told you her preference. You know what she's attracted to, but she has something right now that is unnaturally pulling her desires towards you. And you quickly follow up on it because it's better than the alternative. It's as if you get the beast to focus on the fact that it can enjoy that little indulgence. That it doesn't matter what she wanted, this is what she's going to do. And because you give it that out, you're able to resist her ending up in a dumpster like you thought. It's enough for the beast ego to be stroked that this mortal didn't have a choice. And what you're able to do is you lean in for the kiss, you bite her lip rather than make it a deep kiss, which is what you're going for. And when you do that, she swoons. You can feel it. However, unfortunately, you're almost powerless to stop that lingering kiss, is the effect. It's very natural for her to get into it because where you resisted, it's barely resisted. And when you hit that and she feels it, you see tears as she pulls away and she's just sort of resting her head there. She's like, I don't know what's going on. And Warren, you know what's going on. That lingering kiss and how amazing it felt, and you had to lick the lip and whatnot to conceal the wound. You know how to do that. Your character built in hiding in universities. You can tell she wants you, and she's conflicted because she shouldn't, and she's very embarrassed by it. And just I have to go, right? She looks a little dizzy. Of course she is because you drank about a pint, right? So one hunger reduced. But, you know, you got to take that away from the fact that, you know, she leaves the coffee. She almost walks away from her laptop, except you're gentleman enough to grab her by the hand. Hey, get your shit. Don't leave it out here. People, this won't end up in lost and found. I know the city. Just do your thing. And I'll go, right? And you give yourself out as you smoothly walk away. Now, it's up to you if you're going to get a phone number at all. I leave that to the player. You know what you did. You know what she's afflicted with. She will come looking for you regardless if you get her number or not. She won't have a choice. Her days are going to be filled with a horrible longing for that guy she met here.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's going to be a bigger problem if she doesn't have a connection to me. In my opinion, I'll give her my number. You know, tell her I work days.
This is 3 XP towards your humanity.
Okay.
That I'm giving you. You didn't have to do that. You certainly could have left her to her own devices. That'd be a win for the beast. I think Warren's showing a real effort in not only resisting the beast, setting a path that maybe you can help her not. You can be a friend and keep your hands to yourself, maybe. And that's the idea. And maybe you do something well here. We'll see how that develops. But on the flip, my man going to Rush Hospital. Here's what you're very good at. Getting the hospital structure in and of itself, it's a fancy place, great building. The outside looks pretty tight. But what you notice is the hospital, how do I put this? Looks something space age-esque in all walks. What I mean is the outside looks like some sort of Art Deco thing they got going on. The building design is like Spacely Sprockets, if you get the reference. It's a little ancient, the Jetsons. I went there. And you're trying to figure out the best way to approach it. It's a whole campus that's off the city. What I mean by that is we've all seen these places, right? When you go to a hospital grounds, they have a way of being their own life. Like they're separate from everything else. And they're kind of designed that way for the holistic recovery of the patient. So they would tell you. So it's secluded. It's quiet. You walk around. No one notices you. The thing that matters, though, is where do you want to go? Where do you think you should go to get in here? Now, this place is not Fort Knox. You got an emergency room that has automatic open doors. You have the main room or the main entrance, automatic open doors. There's lights everywhere. This place is super well lit. There are people walking all over the building with unpredictable patterns. This isn't security that's walking around doing it. Their security probably sits and chills and is bored to death until they're called. Or they have a special unique patient. That's it at most, right? And you know that. So that's the effect. So how do you want to handle this, if at all?
I think the emergency room would be the first go-to. That seems to typically, at least in my experience, having been in and out of seeing people at a hospital, that seems to be the busiest spot.
Now, let me be clear. We're not going to dungeon crawl over a hospital.
Sure.
This is a hospital. So level with me, Michelle. What are we thinking we're going to find here at this place that you're like, we need to go check this out before we go here?
I want to try and figure out what kind of person we're going after, even if I just walk by that, if I manage to find which room this person's in, just walk by to get an assessment who the hell we're coming here for.
Sure. To that end, it's the information you gave, right? Which I'm not 100% if Sullivan said to you, hey, I got to go here because of this. I think he said, I got a thing that we could do on behalf of this guy. Is that about accurate?
I remember hearing his end of the conversation and saying, hey, there's somebody we need to get out. They're at this hospital. Let's figure that seems to be the easiest one. Go figure it out.
Okay. So you're looking for someone that might be trapped then, kept against their will. That might be the case. There's two places to go. ER is a good start. This enters into the whole hospital. It's nothing. They can't see you. So you just walk through, right? Like, go about your business. People stay out of your way. You're walking around looking at signs. They got the nice line color system to take you where you got to go. It's a bit daunting. It's a big hospital. But eventually you settle on the fact that they have psych wards. I hate to call them that. They don't refer to them as that directly, at least not on the signs. It's I forget the name of it. We're going to let that. But basically, it's where you would have people who have substance abuse issues get checked in. They try to cleverly throw that there for extended stays. They do have that wing on here. Sorry, mental health facilities is a term that you'll see on there. And it directs you to it. They have all sorts of hours for people to show up and attend various places to be that you'll see in there. A nice giant electronic board as you tap to see what's going on. But they also do have patients. They do have a ward dedicated to people that are deemed to need to stay under a watchful eye. And that's what you see. Going there, sort of a different experience. First off, the ward is guarded. There's definitely 2 security guards that are right there at the main entrance. Now, they're not there for you, nor are they orderlies. I want to be clear about that. Their job seems to be people don't run out. It looks like any wing that you would be in any part of the hospital, except they're watching the floor. People get off the elevator, probably why are you here? These are the hours, and that's that. And then you get to go in or not go in. You can see there's about 2-3 nurses that are back there, and there are 2 guys, 1 girl. They are very much talking to each other. You can see the conversation. One of the guys is like talking about his yogurt, his new protein yogurt he found that's like a pudding. It's chocolate. It's great. It's made by Chobani. He's really happy with it. The other guy's laughing while he's eating McDonald's fries. He looks just as fit, but maybe he's about 5 years, 10 years younger. And he's like, yeah, it sucks. You got Chobani, huh? I ate nuggets, right? That's what came in here. And I got a burger I'm going to eat in like 5 minutes, double pounder, whatever the hell it is. I just don't eat the bun, man. You get a fork, save right there. Whatever you can cut from your diet, you'll be okay. Just work it out in the gym. And then the girl just chuckles back and forth. And I say girl, it's the woman. She's probably in her early 40s, but their fitness level is pretty good. You notice the people here are somewhat fit. You've wanted the hospital. Not all nurses are like that. All shapes and sizes are here, but none of them are so unhealthy that they couldn't do the function of the job. But what you do find interesting is here, these guys have some pretty good arm strength, right? Not like they're bulked, not like they're, we're going to hold, but you figure we're in the mental health portion. It makes sense. They probably deal with a lot of people in and out of the bed sort of thing. Someone might flip out from a dream, bad meds, whatever. Got to tie down a lot of people just so they don't hurt themselves. And maybe that's part of the job of them selecting them here, which explains why a lot of more males and women that are here for doing nursing, not that women can't do it. And you'll note that very quickly because looking at the names on the board and assignment, there's another 5 people that are up here. And, the names seem more feminine than others. You don't really double check it. But what you're looking at, you have a giant electronic board that has patients in rooms, and they have 10 rooms that are here to this wing. Only 4 of them have patients. Of the 4 that have patients, only 1 of them is on lockdown, as in the room is sealed. Now, you don't know why it's sealed, but that's what it says. And the sealed is intact, and it's been there, and they have a counter. So far, it's been what you can look at about 11, 12 hours that it's up there. But what they have on there is a flat line for the heart rate monitor. And you see it, batteries need to be changed. It's an indicator that's pretty obvious and blinking on the sign. That's got to be the room. They're just not sure what's up with that. The other thing is that these guys out here talking, they have no intention of walking off to do their rounds. Like you always thought nurses have, pills to count, patients to check in on, shots to give, blood to take, help people out. It's always something that's going on. And certainly they're taking actual phone calls to go do things. And you'll hear what is known as a charge nurse. That's the one in charge of the floor to make sure nurses are making their rounds, is the McDonald's guy. And when he picks up the phone, he's like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. I'll go ahead and send somebody by. And then you'll hear him go, what do you mean why I'm not coming by? I'm doing my job. I got to tell you to do yours today. That's my night. Trey don't do shit tonight. Hey, get on it. Hey, you want your break? When you want your break, these are the breaks, man. Like, look, I told you, I'll help handle anybody's go to the bathroom, clean up the poop, all that stuff. I'll do that. But man, I don't have to deal with that guy. F that. And they'll start chuckling a little bit, which is damn unprofessional. But like, you'll hear the guy near him. Hey, come on, man. It's the dude passed like hours ago. Like, I don't know why. It's kind of creepy. We leave him up there on the monitor, don't you think? He goes, hell no. We leave it up there because it was weird how he went. There's like nobody in the room when he died. The guy was fit as a fiddle. The doctors even came in and were like, oh, we should have called the cops. Why didn't we call the fucking cops yet? We're up here with Count Dracula's victim here. And the lady's like, whoa. Like, seriously, it's a creepy thing. The guy's dead. And, they say that, never mind. And he'll stop. He'll go, did you go in there? And the chargers will go, knock it the fuck off. You go do a round, and how about you count pills, okay? Jesus. No wonder they have you put in charge. You geriatrics would be here all day. Conspiracy said, the guy's dead, don't go in. It's simple, do your job. And for the most part, they'll nod and kind of take the dig for what it is, and it leaves you to make a choice. What would you like to do, if anything? Or is that enough?
I'm already here. Let's see how much further I can get. I'm fine.
This is a dungeon crawl, I would like to remind you.
Yeah, this is not the dungeon crawl.
You, Mike, because I'm letting you see. Let's how far I can get. Opportunities erupt on all places. Is this an opportunity? You're trying to steal the gold ring and say, I got it done already. Don't worry about it, guys. Or was this you scouting to come back and, well, scout? Here's what I discovered. Here's what I know. Choice is yours.
Okay. Trying to see if there's any more information I would look for in particular, but the room's on lockdown. We know that. He's going to look for any other besides the main entrance where the guards are. If there's any other like fire escape that can be used when they figure out a plan to extract this person.
Let's get past that a little bit.
Sure.
Any other fire escape's really not needed. There's an elevator and there's stairs. That's it. Okay. Right? It's up to fire code. The hospital is not designed to trap people in the building. Right? It's designed to be safe. It's designed to be healthy, right? And that's the goal. And ironically, their stats are you'll probably die more in the hospital than not. But hey, we're not looking at stats, right? Don't go there. I'm just saying in terms of ins and out, that's what your character's concerned with. Now, unfortunately, you're not a ninja, right? You're not like a guy who does escape plans. You're a guy who just happens to be invisible, right, to anybody else. Like can't be noticed. And in that regard, it gives you a lot of leeway. If everyone can be invisible, they could just walk out, right? So at this point, who could stop you? Would it be the clutch of people who want to whisper and talk about things that could be going on and have to be told to go do their job, which is anybody in a situation like that? Or is it going to be the two, what might be officers off duty that are at the main entrance stopping people who come off the elevator? That's your real obstacle is those two guys. And as far as you know, you can just take the stairs if you can be quiet enough. Oh, I should add, there are service elevators used internally by the staff at the hospital. But why that's not mentioned, it's a no-go. That's simply not the brightest move. You're looking to avoid people. You don't take the stairs only the staff use, or the elevator only the staff use, right?
I think if anything, he'll try and swipe somebody's security card and return to the Haven.
All right. Even swipe the security card. The purpose of that, nothing is impeding you getting to where you went to. Right.
If I need to bring others with me, is the purpose of the security
card. Okay. So what I'm saying is, you have one security card to a hospital. Just note that on your sheet. At some point, that may be relevant. But right now, I'm telling you, and I'm cheating in saying this: the route you took, you didn't need a security card to get there. Right? There's an elevator to get there. You can see there's clearly a stairwell. Your assumption is you get on any floor, no problem. It's just walk and open the door and do your thing. Do they have people to stop you there? You assume if there is a patient wing, that's where the buck stops. So that stair in the outer, sure. But would your card get in there? You don't know if there's even a card reader to use those stairs. Because, remember what I said, they have access via an elevator that only employees use, and that's what your card's going to open.
Okay. Yeah. I'm starting to reconsider my approach, but we'll just leave the action the way it is.
That's all I'm saying. You have it. Who knows? Maybe you do want to go to the employee lounge and get the donuts that they don't have. Remember, they're healthy. All right. So back at the ranch. Going back to Carson's, we'll flip it to. At this point, just for anybody's sake, Ramsey, you're losing your ass to slapping the cards.
Do you have any twos?
Right. At this point, Slappy, Ramsey's number one problem is when he asks you, he's so not able to focus and give a shit about what this card game is that he's not even acknowledging that he's repeat asking you stuff. It's a hell of an advantage when you're playing a memory game, right? He doesn't care. Got any twos? It's not the fifth time he asked that. That's your question? Yeah, no, I don't have any twos. All right, my turn. Keeps your turn. It's pretty easy, right? When you try to play poker and explain it to him, it's annoying because he's like all in. Every hand, yeah, win big. You'll lose eventually. Look, no, and put real money on the line. He's like, sure. You forgot he had a whole bunch of cash that's not his that he could use equally well. And you begin to see he's just going to go all in. So I might as well be paying each hand for 100. How about we play for pennies so you can learn the game? Whatever. Right? And you go that route. Let's at least stretch this out a little bit. You begin to know each other. The point I want from that scene, because it needs to be relevant, at least a little bit Slappy, is to understand he needs humanity cues. Where he understands how to walk the walk and how to talk the talk, there's stuff he doesn't understand. Like common just discourse. Right? Everybody has a story about something, and even people will embellish a story that was maybe not as important as it was. And you're good at telling blues stories and stuff on the road, but then he asks questions like somebody who's studying war. Like you get done talking about a groupie who got too groping, and he was like, why didn't you just feed on him? Well, because there's everybody, you don't do that. Like the guy just is being an asshole, and we just put him in check, and he doesn't get a beer, and he doesn't get to come with us later on. And he's like, yeah, sure, you could do that, I guess. Sure. Well, did you find him later when you were hungry and feed from him? Like, no doubt he was just following because he wanted to fit in but couldn't. And then eventually you're like making shit up. Oh, yeah, I totally hunted him down a week later and fed from him because he was still hanging out at the House of Blues. Yeah, absolutely. That's what happened. And Randy's like, I'm not an idiot. If he wasn't there, he wasn't there. And you just agree to disagree. Like there's a lot of times you're like, that happens. You're like, no. What it is, I'm just trying to get you to understand that that's all there was to the story. There was nothing more. And Ramsey's like, oh, okay, you could have just said that. And you're beginning to learn literally literal. Like he just seems like he knows how to be a human being, but apparently that shit ain't there. If you had a diary, you might call it Conversations with the Beast. Might be more fitting. So back to ranch though, Ballard. For your edification, Ballard does look up and he waves you over. Yes, he's a big man. He's a massive hand, has a cigar that's nearby would be the only oddity that you would see that they would even allow such a thing to happen, right? But it makes sense because Horatio Ballard apparently is an aficionado of cigars. It's something not unknown to you. We'll say it's easy to forget. What vampire likes fire? Just seems to be that. But his cigar is lit. And what bothers you is how old he is. You immediately know this. Most vampires who are young, the hallmark of V5 is that people can pretend they're human. You can kind of get by with that. You can do a lot. You can feel like you can make a mistake and it's okay to err to be human and all that. But these things, when you get around them, it does feel like a thing. There's a larger menace of power when you get close to him. It's one where when he looks at you, that stressed look turns into a predatory instinct to just look through you. And you begin to imagine what a shark might look like at someone before being circling. It's not certain if you're predator or prey. That's the feeling you get. However, the buddy you bring in wasn't ready for this. And when you bring him in, he's still standing at the doorway, but don't worry. Mr. Ballard's associate's very good. Kind of a well-to-do fit man, super dressed to the nines. I mean, Ballard's in a suit and tie. You know it has to be tailored because of his size. His assistant that's designer gear, top dollar. Looks like the shiniest penny on Ballard's lapel is how it is, but definitely a part of him. But your assistant goes over and tells him, please come with us. You're a guest as well. Your guest brought you, and that's very good for him. Mr. Sullivan, if you don't mind, we'd like to feed your guest.
Of course, by all means.
And Ballard will look at you and he goes, I won't hear a no. This place is excellent on beef. Please be seated.
And Sully will make his way over to Primogen Ballard and have a seat as instructed.
But you'll know his name to be just Justin. Yes, he's from South Africa. No, he doesn't have a weird name that you would expect. It's Justin. Now, his last name, I couldn't begin to pronounce, but I'll send that to you later. That's a different matter. But his first name's rather pronounceable, and he's seated. He's fine. He's a little nervous now. He'll look, and your attendant immediately, Bow's attendant immediately tells him, do not be concerned. He has a condition. It's a medical one for his eyes. It only seems that way. It's very hard for him. Please understand. And he's like, oh, of course. No, I wasn't going to say anything. Now, for you, they're not talking loud. It's a whisper. But you're a predator of the night. They might as well be saying it to you directly in conversation. And you absolutely know Ballard hears it, but you know he doesn't pay it any mind. In other words, gives you the lay of how it should be handled. Give them the idea, their illusions of whispering, and then it's unheard, and they seem to be okay. But you do hear something important. Before the attendant walks away, he goes, "Oh, can I get a lager?" And he'll pause. Interesting. We haven't even. Absolutely, one lager, sir, coming up. You have a choice? And he goes, "Can I just any lager right now, please?" Absolutely. You still seem nervous. Are you certain you want me to leave? Well, can I come with you to the counter? And you hear Ballard? I won't hear of it. Please be comfortable. Relax. Nothing is wrong. Now, you were saying, I know you're Mr. Sullivan. Thank you for coming. You know who I am. I wish to know a little bit about your situation and how I can help in any way before I mention the abominable reason why I have you here, my embarrassment.
He'll raise a brow at that, and he's like, in terms of help, Mr. Ballard. I hope you understand that as an entrepreneur, I have currently taken on an endeavor of working with certain individuals to kind of.
How much do you need?
He pauses. I don't think out of character. I don't think he needs money. He needs just his clout, right? As far as I'm concerned, that throws me off for a loop.
I don't know. I'm not Ballard. I just play him. That's
no. You're. I guess you're right. I'm speaking from my character's point of view. That definitely threw him for a loop. It's like money. He doesn't need money. He'll clear his throat. He's like, it's not money, sir, that I'm looking for. I'm looking for your sponsorship.
He'll puff on the cigar a couple times, and he does let the smoke just trail out of his mouth and his nose, right? But he doesn't breathe it out like a dragon, but it does give you similarities to it. As you know what's fine about a Cuban cigar? I own the factory that makes these. It means I have very interesting men who own a farm that they shouldn't, in a land that could get them shot for having one Cuban cigar against the wishes of their government, which they wouldn't dare touch them because of the connections I have. You have asked me to open up a palisade of wealth, and for you the opportunity to do it, for you do not ask for a fish. You're asking me for how to fish. I like that. Bold, direct. We can do business. What is this endeavor that you need a sponsorship for?
This endeavor is to. Well, I have people in my coterie, sir, that I need to have some backing for, to vouch for their effectiveness.
Give me a intelligence, and we'll go wits, actually. Wits etiquette.
Right.
Let's see if you could pick up on this.
Nice. Wits etiquette.
We're going to go with, because you have a mentor, who did tell you of the relationship with before previously in your background. I'll give you a die, because it's the Mala rating, of just how depth Neely was with you about it. This guy.
All right. And go.
You'll catch it. Like, unfortunately, you did say things, but you caught that you said them. And immediately you see Balor's disposition as he raises an eyebrow slightly. When you go, well, unfortunately, the coterie, I meant, you mentioned others. Now, in the capacity, if you're wondering, your character just made a big misstep as far as he's concerned, and he could get that.
Mhm.
This is a guy who deals in directness and power and being absolute control. He thought he was dealing with the person on top. So he thinks he's talking to the boss. So why would you need to talk to anyone when he's talking to you? You're Sully, right? And that must be how it was built. And indeed, that's how you bill yourself. But here you are referring to them like you need that crutch. So at this point, sorry about that. But at this point, what we're looking to do is to recover the disposition or leave it as it stands. It's your choice.
He will attempt to recover his disposition as best as possible. He'll recognize his misstep, especially because he knows this is the first time actually having an audience with someone of such stature, that he feels he let his mind slip and he has to catch up again.
All right. To recover, we're just going to simply state, I can let you do this with a roll, or we could say you do it at a cost.
I will try it with a roll, sir, and see where the fates guide me here.
What this is going to be is charisma, and what you're using here is straight up etiquette, because you're trying to do this without deceit, right? Which means we'll get to it, but that's what you're trying to accomplish. Add a 2-die bonus because you realize the mistake and you're trying to correct it at this point. Right? You should be good to recover from it.
Okay. Two.
All right. Expertly, right? Realizing what you said that might be off, you clear your throat. I don't need to talk to them. As you immediately redirected, he goes, listen, I hate to, I want to be blunt with you. I don't suffer fools. I don't talk to them. That's not what happens. It's not what it is. I'm always cleaning up the mistakes. And I feel that that's what I have to do based on where I'm from and what I am. We always have to take charge as needed because we want success. And to get that success, I'm the only person you need to talk to. But at the same time, I need to know that when I have your sponsorship, it's to understand I need help in dealing with that mess. I've been saddled with an opportunity. I don't quite know how to do it. That's you opening up a door for him to cement that you do need the help. In other words, you're allowing him to have a hook. And then you say at the end, but I'm not going to sit here and lower myself in begging for it, which means I do know you need something. I'm willing to do that something.
Right.
Roll it all out beautifully. That's what 5 does. You see him. Good. You're the man for the job. Get comfortable. Do you eat by chance?
He's like, there's always time for a first. And he's like, I haven't had a good steak in a while.
I won't ruin good meat. He'll put a nice paw on your shoulder. Now, don't try to keep up with me. If you can, you can. But if you can't, that's what he's for. And he'll point to your buddy Justin. And Justin's like, let him eat for you.
He'll nod. You'll look over at Justin and he'll be like, you're in the presence of great men. I'm glad you were able to make it, Justin.
Justin, as if maybe emboldened by the fact that, he listened to your 9 miles of confusing bullshit, is thinking, well, now's the time to make that known. As you see him just go, well, why is it I'm here exactly? Is I too want to be known, and I have ideas, and I could build nice buildings. I like nice buildings, and you see Ballard look at you for a moment to wonder, what the hell is this guy? It is the look of what? Right? What is he talking about exactly?
He'll take a look at Ballard and he'll be like, this associate of mine is it's quite the gift for you, Mr. Ballard. As you understand, he actually happens to be quite the architect back from South Africa. Only recently emigrated here. If you'd be wondering, he has over 11 buildings that he had contributed his name over towards. I believe that he might be quite an asset in one fashion or another to you.
11 buildings. How much was the profit gained from such buildings you have built? You'll hear the guy. It's not about the profit. And Ballard starts laughing. It's deep. Not about the. You must taste good. Very good. Not about the profit. You taste of hope. Hope and consideration for others, no doubt. He'll slap you on the back. That's the greatest lie. What hope is an impoverished immigrant coming here believing it's a land of opportunity, when all it is another opportunity for me to line my pockets with someone who I will give a mediocre job and tell them it's literally their avenue to power. You believe this lie. Let me tell you what capitalism is. It's designed by the rich to leave to not have to pay other rich called royals any bit of taxing from the largesse that we've earned. We don't owe those spoiled, lazy children a thing. Their parents may have been someone, but they're a far cry from that. But we needed workers. People need to work, and for that, they need hope. And hope is a lot. You come over here and you work your wage, and you're happy I gave it to you. Do you truly think we need a McDonald's? No, never did. But you people needed somewhere to go to beg for change. I got tired of tripping over you walking down Wall Street. So a McDonald's you shall have. Rinse and repeat and so on. Whoever this guy is from South Africa is literally sitting there. Fuck you. Like, he just says it flat out. It's just a lie. I went to school. I have a PhD. What you have is a debt and a piece of paper that says you're important to someone to bring you in to justify the tax write-off we get from your government to say that we are of worth and we hire quality people. That is not where business is made. You, sir, can shut up right now. And he's just, I'm getting the fuck out of it. You'd see him like putting the stuff up and he's literally going to leave. You see him just like napkin on the table, kind of shuffling out. You don't control me. I didn't come here for this. I can't believe you. Sully, don't call me, as you hear him like pointing and shouting. And Ballard's just looking at you. As he's sitting there, those cold, dead eyes are on you, not the guy you brought.
He'll simply look back over to Justin, and he'll compel him to sit and wait until he's dismissed.
Now, sir, accordingly, you tell him to sit and then tell him afterward, wait, right? And
Right.
that seems what you want to do. So he stands, and when you tell him to sit, he just sits down. Except there's something very profound that happens when this occurs. He doesn't understand why his body just did it, or that it's not obeying that he stands now. And as he sits there, he's checking his legs. They're there. You see him kind of poking and feeling on him, and currently the panic's there. But you know it was received. He's not going anywhere. And Ballard will, indeed. Well, you have a mindset to keep quiet, and we'll see about your aspirations of hope. However, you, Sullivan, you bring me this gift. I accept only relations between you and I to grow. I'll see what I could do with your wealth, and we'll see if it's of worth to me at all. If it is, relationships are fine. If not, I'll have a snack of a type later. With that, Justin stops moving, as if he doesn't need convincing to know this guy's serious. In the finale that was said, as he's literally relaxed. However, the ribs I posted, it's a platter that gets brought out to him, pre-cut and set in front of him, and you hear the waiter telling him where it's from and the type of, it's a pork rib that he brought, and then a beef rib's coming after this, and don't forget the tomahawk steak that's being cooked currently. So the two appetizers are but an aperitif for everything else he's going to get, as tonight is a carnivore night. And he does hope that he brought his appetite, as Justin's just nodding his head, and like now he's drinking his lager like it's water, like just chugging the damn thing as he's sitting there. But why I asked you to be here is very sensitive. It is not often I admit this, nor is it easy to. And I would expect you to keep the privacy in order, and that's why I tell you. No one else is to know this.
Of course, Primogen Ballard. How may I assist?
He'll hold his hand out, and his attendant quickly will just come over, hand the tablet to you. He walks very fast around the table from where he was, and he'll slide the tablet over to you, and it appears to be a video. It's black screen, requiring you to hit play, and Ballard will simply nod to let you know it's okay, as he goes back to smoking his cigar, but indeed wisely. Apparently there's bread rolls that are over on his side. The attendant moves to be buttering up a piece of bread for Ballard, who will be picking it apart to enjoy chunks of it as he's smoking, which, by the way, there is a revulsion to you being so close to smell garlic bread being sucked down with no liquid in his mouth. Like, how exactly is he chewing and swallowing that, right? Just like dry mixed with chunks and him just choking it down loudly, right? To swill it after with some wine. It's just literally an afterthought. Like, that's going to come somewhere. You know it is. But when you hit play, what you see is a Ballard sitting at a desk, and there is, I'd say, this desk is decadent, right? Just imagine a tycoon's idea of an office desk in a lavish home somewhere you assume to be in the Chicago area. Now, when he gets this call, it's a security camera on him. You know he got a call, but you don't see what it's about. You just see Ballard's reaction. And what it is that he has it, receives it, Ballard looks, grabs his own screen, and he starts smashing the screen in an amazing display of violence. This big guy, when he wants to, is rather, you wouldn't want to be the desk, let's put it that way. Then he smashes his great bulk a la Kingpin, 2 fists through it, smashed it to pieces, ruins the thing, and obviously the camera stops recording at a point. And Ballard simply rolls in, the nature of the message that I received is an email requiring yet more money from me. And if I don't pay the money, I had the indignity of having to sneak into Great America, strip nude, and ride the American Eagle in the buff. For you to maintain composure, sir, please roll your resolve plus composure.
Right.
Exactly 1 die because you're a Ventrue and you know better. I would have given you 2, but it's too damn funny to see this guy naked.
It is too damn funny. That is a thing. Jesus. All right.
Show of hands, who would actually want to see that?
No one does. Believe you me.
There's some people that pay good money to see that, actually.
They
All
would.
Right.
Not any self-respecting person. Yep.
With that, man, Dignitas is your name, right? You're just, right? Not even nothing, poker face intact. And Barrow will just nod his head, good man. No, it is not me in my finest. I do note that my girth, though impressive, isn't for everyone. You're not from the era when everyone appreciated the thickness of a fine, refined tycoon such as myself. You understand thinness is a sign of starvation, and those of wealth don't starve, ever.
He will nod to that. He will be like, if I'm not mistaken, I think the only last place people still value that is in North Korea. Granted, they don't have the resources you do, sir. Otherwise, well, it'd be a different country.
Why we've shifted the agenda to people no longer being part of the Clean Plate Club because we're combating world hunger. Obviously, that is a poor person problem. We leave that to the multitudes, a worker's problem. However, those of us in charge have been forced to suffer others, such as your Hollywood dignates, your internal royalty selection. More people who haven't earned their money, but stupid people are able to fund whatever they like. And those beneath us, these lessers, these poor folk, do love the screen. And so beautiful people are selected, as they say, their beauty, not mine. Give me a thick-figured woman any day in that regard, or a man who understands his place in the world. Healthy appetite and eating with 2 fists. That's an American. Now that said, this video, it's coming around again, and I won't pay it twice. You can discover the nature of where it's coming from. Bring me the original footage. Guarantee me it's been handled. I'll sponsor you in whatever you wish. You understand what whatever means.
Understood. He'll look at the tablet. He's like, may I?
May you what?
Keep this to start with.
You wish to keep my tablet. Would you like my car to drive yourself home?
No. However, it would be helpful if I had some access to this footage to begin with. Don't worry, though. I'll make it count. I'll work.
He'll stare at you as if you asked him for, like, yet another thing, right? You're not really certain why it, I mean, it makes sense and whatnot. And he'll just say, what you will receive is the knowledge this video is in existence. What you must do is find where this video comes from. To that end, why am I giving you another means to blackmail me?
He'll raise a brow and almost look aghast to it. He's like, I'm in service. This is an opportunity, nothing more.
You understand that the history of this very sect was founded on anarchs who used to be children that were in service. So it's your angst in not having assistance in this matter. My tablet is directly due to their mistake in opposing their betters. Do remember who your better is in this, and perhaps later in our relationship, I'll note that I can trust you, and thus I will give you ease of access to other things, that and more. With this tablet, that is mine.
Understood, Primogen Ballard. And he'll just, he'll make sure the screen is locked so that Justin doesn't have to see it, and he will simply slide it aside, not getting in the way of food.
He'll eventually get his the steak and his ribs get brought out as you'll see Ballard's eyes kind of grow light. My favorite part. This will be good. Justin, how was your meal? And you'll see Justin's like still kind of trying to work on the standing bit, and will kind of quickly grab a piece of the rib to chew on. It's not been that long you've been talking. And he's like, "Oh, it's good, I suppose." Good. You will have plenty of time to tell me why you're worth not eating. I believe, Mr. Sullivan, that is a good day to you.
Primogen Ballard, it's been a pleasure. And he'll stand up after he's been dismissed, and he'll simply place a gentle hand on Justin, and he'll just walk away without saying another word.
Who's weeping? When you put a gentle hand on Justin as you walk away, by the way, take 3 stains. I'm not giving you 2. I'm giving you 3. This guy trusted you. You were his realtor. You knew he had a family. You knew he was doing well, and you brought him in and left him with that living shark in a suit. As you, sorry, Valcandios, I needed the ups. As you walk out, I'm telling you right now, we're rolling for that bad boy.
I will.
All right. Only because your humanity's so high, to be honest. That's
right,
that's,
of course.
But you head out doing what you had to for what you have going on. With that said, what we're going to rule, unless there's a difference here, everybody gets back from their endeavors. Obviously, at different times. I'd say the first up would be Warren strolling back, looking like he's a bit on cloud 9 and maybe a bit, almost walk of shame, but not quite. You know what I mean? Like it went well because, nothing happened that you see is wrong with them, but at the same time, has to look at like, whatever. You guys playing cards? What's up? That sort of thing. On the flip, despite what you guys might say is that's going on and get to the small talk and being weary of time here, others arrive. And in a different order, right? Obviously, your meeting is relatively short, Sullivan, compared to him. What Rock did was went and investigated a whole hospital, the ins and outs and ups and what goes on. It took a little more time. All in all, it's about 2 hours you guys were separated, and Rock comes in at the end. But you guys have a chance to let that happen until the end. I'm just going to hand wave exactly the order that comes in so you can get to the scene together so you can discuss here as this is, it looks like it's going to be our last scene winding down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Sully will walk in looking a little calmer than he did when he actually left. He'll take a look around the room and he's like, it seems like business is booming, gentlemen. I was able to meet up with a potential new sponsor in the form of Primogen Ballard. And any of you good with a computer, or at least knowing how to remove evidence? Not the physical kind, but the digital kind.
I might know a guy.
There's some, I'll gently put it this way. There's some pretty interesting evidence that we don't want Mr. Primogen Ballard to kind of suffer any types of indiscretions due to it, indignities, so to speak. We need to wipe out any and all evidence along with it. However, what's more important is we need to find out what the source is. And the source.
In that case, I definitely know a guy.
Perfect. We do that. It's going to afford us a little more breathing room, not only within the camera itself, but we could pull upon certain resources that'll hopefully keep us alive. He winks. He like pauses at that. Us. Yeah, us. Keep us alive. It'll be hard, especially with someone as big, both figuratively and literally, as Primogen Ballard. That'll be able to assist. But yeah, that's what I was up to. You guys do anything while I was away, or he'll take a look around the room?
I went and made a new friend. And hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. But other than that, stomach's full. You know how it is.
At this point, Slappy's just playing solitaire, having given up on trying to teach Ramsey any more card games. And he's just like, man, I just, you ever, you know what? Ramsey's a good guy. We talked, just had a good old conversation. Terrible fucking card player, though. Oh my God. I don't, but, yeah, I mean, sounds like you had a pretty good meeting. Got another problem to solve. That's cool. That's cool.
I think it's one for each of us at this point.
Well, I managed to get some information on Rush Hospital.
Oh.
Person we're looking for is already dead. They're still in the mental health ward, essentially. Nobody wants to deal with him, so he's just sitting there. That's the weird thing. He's still got his monitor on him, but he's flatlined. We just need to get him out of there. It's not gonna. The security is just a couple of guards. If we're able to talk their way into saying, "Oh, I don't know. We heard you had a body that needed to be taken to the morgue. Here to pick up the body." That's one idea.
Do we have an idea of why they would just leave his body there? I mean, when someone flatlines, that's
somebody's up to something, obviously.
I listened around every time it was brought up that, hey, we should deal with this. The person in charge seemed to redirect dealing with it now.
Have you seen the body?
I did not go into the room. I saw the monitors. I saw the setup of the ward. There's like 4 attendees working the wing with 2 guards at the door.
Okay. I mean, so far so good. You were able to get in, right?
Yeah, there's no like special doors you have to access, but I mean, you walk far enough into a hospital, you're going to start having to answer questions. So,
good point. I mean, so far so good. That's a lot better than dealing with werewolves, right? I mean,
Sully, I've been trying to tell you since we've had this conversation. That has to get done. There's no avoiding the park.
I'm not saying
Not
we're
for
avoiding
me.
the park. I'm saying it's always easier to work on the things you could fix first instead of the hardest ones last. I mean, unless that's what you want to do. He'll take a look at the rest of the group. He's like, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's better to move a dead corpse than it is to become another dead corpse.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about the guy at the hospital. We can snatch him if we can figure out how to do so intelligently, but we can't have a whole family with blackmail after we're already in trouble chasing after Ramsey. That's a non-starter.
Wait. What?
Did you not say that this guy has the head? The guy with the beam?
Yes.
Okay. You said his last name means something.
Giovanni? Yes, apparently it does. Apparently it's a big name in the Hakata.
So we can't have them chasing after you because they have blackmail.
Yes.
I mean, let's talk it through, boys, right? So we gotta, what? Bean's got a time limit, a hard limit of Friday, right? Gotta get that done for Ramsey's sake, right? Or all of our sakes, I guess, since we're all hanging out, right? So that should be probably priority number 1. by the sounds of it, Warren's got a pretty good in for your Ballard thing. So we could work on that from there, right? You said you got a dude.
I got a dude who can do a thing. Yeah.
That's a good place to start, right? Dude who can do a thing is more than we got for most of our other things. So that's a good thing we can get working on. And next is the hospital, which should be a piece of cake, right? Which that seems a little more time sensitive if he's I don't know, flatlined in there.
This
I
would
can't
be
tell you how long they're gonna just let him sit in a room, but oddly enough, the room is the only one on lockdown.
And here's the thing: if they were gonna move him and have it not be an issue, then nobody would have asked us to move him, right? So I get the impression that like once he's out of there, that's a problem for whoever called Sully.
That's right. And if it means anything, I think Sun offered to kind of assist us with our current situation, which if it means he could assist in any way, shape, or form with having to deal with the werewolves and make our lives easier, then we have until Friday. So I say we take care of the flatline first and see what happens from there. And if he can't help us, well then shit. I guess we'll watch the howling and we'll figure out what to do with werewolves.
All right.
Flatline then Bean. I'm gonna put in a call to my guy and see how good he is at finding, I don't know, video evidence.
Whoa, before we start there, is your guy one of us or is your guy an independent contractor?
My guy is an independent contractor who was talented enough to give me details on a police station at one point in life.
All right. Not one of these Sabat characters, right?
No. He's not a vampire. He's just gifted.
Perfect. All right. I'll hand over you the details then and we can do that. All right. So at least we have a battle plan. That this works out. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. If we could pull this all off, we're gonna be in a very good spot.
I'll try to talk to Hernandez. She's I've not seen her in a while, but I know she's also had a grudge against the Lupines for a while. She might be able to help us out with Millennium Park.
Okay. I mean, I'm not too tight with the Gangrel. I'm assuming that's what she is.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Right. So it seems gonna idea of what we're gonna do again, a reassessment of a list here. I have advice. All of you need to take notes of it. Right?
Yep.
Why do I say that? Your 2-week gap is starting to be where I heard you say it. Seems there's a problem for each of us to deal with. Is it? Or is it a matter of going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. Like you're sitting around waiting for it. It's finding you, but as you sit here and wait for things to happen, stuff is going on. So that's the thing I want to remind you of. I'm not saying that you have to do something. You're the players, though. There's a reason you're here. So if you're not going to work on something, your own aspirations definitely always needs to be in the back of your head. And if you don't have anything, help your buddy. That's kind of what groups do when they're together. That's not a critique. It's just keep in mind. So whether you're helping Sully ascend the ranks to the Camarilla or someone's going to try to dig that Giovanni shovel out of Ramsey's ass or whatever the hell's going on, I mean, that's on everybody to do. Slappy's sitting pretty, but Slappy handled his opportunity. I mean, I'm going to say that. He got hit with it, took care of it, frees him up to handle it, and Rot just got back and doesn't seem to care that Nas are missing because he's not one of them. So that's all the stuff I want to bring up to you is that we could work on and get that done, but keep that in mind. So for next time, we're going to look for that. I will say something sad. Here has to be announced that this is Mike's last game, unfortunately. Mike has received a job that isn't conducive to the time and absolutely deserves applause for it. I know it's awesome. It's going to help Mike out here immensely. But he's done with law school, and that's the good thing. Officially being that lawyer is going to be everything. So that'll take care of it. Definitely frees up a schedule when he gets paid to do what he loves doing. So that's a good point. So we wish him the best, and probably not the last of them. Who knows? Things tend to change in Mike's world, and might be back, might not. We don't know who's going to fill the slot, but we will look for that and see who's wanting to step up to do it. And we'll see you folks next time with that decision. So next game, we'll let you guys know, and we'll do that. Oh, you should ask. It's not the end of Warren. It's just Warren's got to be NPC. That's that thing. That's how I'm going to handle that. I think Mike is deserving of not a cheesy, he blows up in a firebomb, and we should see that character played out accordingly. Also, Ramsey still needs an original cohort that was there in the mix with him.
Yeah, otherwise that gets a little shaky. But the chat is also sending their love to you, Mike.
Appreciate y'all. Be back as soon as I can. That's all I can promise for now.
All right.
Look
Thanks,
forward
everybody.
to it.
We'll talk to you next time. And good game, guys. You maybe want our XP? Me too. I almost forgot that. I feel it's standard for what we have going on. What I mean by standard, it's going to be 3 all around for what you guys did. And again, it's a stellar job. You guys are working towards it. You're figuring out what to do with it. We're not certain what that turnout's going to be, but we're to that pressure point where absolutely we're at jump come next session. So we'll deal with that there. I will not stop you for nominations. Who do you feel does really, really well and worth noting?
I really like Sully. Sully's meeting with the King Shark Ventru. I only partly because I feel like I gave a description of him and his motivations with the ex Sabat earlier, and that scene proved that I was absolutely right about him being like caring about people because of the use and all that. Maybe it's not that hard to guess, given we're in vampires. But I think he lived that up, and that was a very, very entertaining scene to see him in.
I always enjoy watching somebody go toe to toe with Ballard.
It's so scary.
See, I was gonna give it to DJ too, honestly, but for almost a different reason. I just like how fucking you play like the opportunistic like Ventru very well, because we started off with one issue at the beginning of the session and then we grew into 3 problems. You're like, don't worry, it's gonna be good for all of us. I promise. It's good for all of us.
I want to point out that what 2 people have classified as problems, they're not problems. These are opportunities. What it is that there is an original problem, and focus on that. The original problem is you guys said you were going to do that, right? That's what goes on. The backside of it is, all right, we got 2 other offers. One is hella suspicious because of the timing of it, right? To call and say, I'll give you an option to do something for me, but I'm going to give you a test first. Do not forget that. The other one was sort of a Hail Mary, i.e., where did this come from? We obviously know that Sully generated it's directly in the background of what he had going on for him, whether it's Neely's pressure and he lied, or it's very real, and certain DJ could tell you if you didn't get earlier, this is based on his story and what he took, that he's been thrown a bone from a very important figure to do a very important thing. Now, that's Sullivan's opportunity, not a problem yet, right? Now, he didn't get in trouble for not doing it. It's just he doesn't get the connections, right? In terms of the Sun incident, well, what happens if you don't do that? Well, you can assume, well, if we didn't agree to it and we don't go do it, that means he's not going to help us. But we know the benefit. He could maybe counter what the Hikata threat was laid out in front of us. So think of it that way. That's what Sullivan's doing. He made opportunities. One landed in his lap, another one's mysterious to make it happen. And you guys are kind of vetting them. The original problem was Ramsey's problem. Right? I don't want to let that go. Ramsey thwarted the police in having a clean investigation and made a cold case. We didn't know that a certain Lasombra was going to be all upset by his sort of cleanup of the incident and come and cause a problem.
They had no idea a vampire did it, all right? Whatever.
Well, that's the whole thing. And it gets more complicated when the Hikata get taxed to do something and you say, and they helped you and you never paid it back. That's where it is. That's what I want you to focus on. It's how to do this resolution, not necessarily they're all problems. We just got choices and to work on it.
Problems are opportunities. And if we didn't have problems, our lives would be very boring.
And DJ, by my count, that is definitely an extra XP in your corner. No, you're not walking away with 5. I'm going to cap you at 4. I think that's reasonable.
Yep.
We didn't solve Kane's secret shelter for chopping wood. I mean, we're good.
Right. I've also failed my stain roll. I have lost humanity in the process.
I wasn't going to put that on camera. I'm a big fan of those off of camera. So if it's bad, we don't have to.
It was well deserved. He that poor South African Justin is probably eating food as he's looking. He's filling up like foie gras in front of Ballard. I
thought for certain you weren't going to do that. I was. Oh, don't do me no favors. Don't do me no favors, DJ. You stay right there with it. I don't want to go to no private party. Keep Bob. He's yours. What? It was good.
Good luck, buddy.
But next time, folks, thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you later.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone.